Welcome to Champagne Football Lemonade Banter. This season is brought to you by the Lightweight Athletic Club.
Whatever you're watching us on, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Alright, okay, welcome back to Champagne Football. We're joined today with Nicholas Olsen and Lachie Scott for Wollongong Wolves, lads. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, thanks for having us.
The big dogs, man. The big dogs.
Big dogs, I'm the real one.
The Wolvies.
What is that? I talk about the Wolf Den?
The Wolf Den.
Is that how many people do you get in the Wolf Den?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We've got two standards. shout out to Darren.
Yeah.
Darren comes to every training session. He's
session?
a ledge. Yeah, he's a
Training
ledge.
sessions, FFA Cup games.
Yeah.
Oh, does
in Ryde, Hornsby, he's always there.
Okay. Oh, is that the guy? I had someone say he takes public transport.
You would know him. Yeah, takes public transport to every game. Yeah.
Oh my
God.
Yeah.
He got public transport to the Central Coast game last year. It took him like 6 hours.
Why did no one
He's
give him a lift?
dedicated. Yeah.
We gave him a lift back, I think.
Yeah.
On the bus, but
Nice enough to
Not
give
there.
him a bit. Yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
That's brilliant, though.
Like,
Yeah, it
he
is
makes a
well
full day out of it. And
Yeah.
I think Marconi game, 2 buses and a train. It's
commitment.
Just himself?
Yeah, just himself. Yeah, reads a book and has a coffee in his way. He's a
That's
ledge.
fucking some size of
Love
book.
that, man.
Yeah.
Size of book.
Yeah, needs a couple.
So he's in the Wolf Den?
Yeah, he's in the Wolf Den, and
else
then
is
there's a couple others. Should know their names, but I don't.
Yeah,
But there's the usual two, him and another guy that come to the games. But yeah, he comes to every training session and loves to get around.
How
it.
old is he?
I don't know. Would you say mid-60s?
Yeah, I'd say.
What
I'd
a
say
guy.
that.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant, man.
So when I played in Vietnam, his wife's Vietnamese, so he watched me play when I was in Vietnam.
He went there, the boss?
Yeah. No. So don't over the train. Got a boat there. He supported Ho Chi Minh, and I played for Saigon. So when I signed it at Wolves, he commented on one of the posts like, "Oh, we don't like the Pinky Boys," and I was like, "What's this guy talking about?" Then when I met him and realised that his wife was Vietnamese, and he was watching some of the games when I was there.
That's
So-
brilliant, man.
So
Just
yeah,
loves his football.
and the same thing there.
Yeah,
so
he
he
does.
was sponsors. Not sponsors. He follows Ho Chi Minh, and same thing. Just travels everywhere, watches all their games. Just mad for football.
That's brilliant,
So-
man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's incredible. Brilliant. Chaz, you want to go through the sponsors, mate?
Yes, we'll give a wee shout out to Deploy, who have developed Australia's best value for money footballs, tailored to every price point and category.
From day one, Deploy is focused on engineering footballs for purpose, especially for junior progression, bridging the gap between entry-level training balls and elite match balls.
And now, with the launch of Deploy's new Elite Match Ball range, Deploy offers a complete football pathway for every age and level of the game. The Deploy Counter and the Deploy Munich are the official match balls for 14 local Premier Leagues around New South Wales and are the ball of choice for many MPL clubs.
Magnificent.
Outstanding. MPL 1,
MPL 1, mate.
round 17. We'll start with you boys. Obviously, you were away at St George. Finished one each. What were your thoughts in the game?
1-1, probably fair result for me on the pitch.
Yeah, I think fair result. Obviously, watching from the stands, it was a game where it was not much attack. I don't think either way. It was kind of a lot of physicality in the middle there. Obviously, Darcy going down. Sort of that game stopped for about 45 minutes.
Oh, stop for 45.
Yeah.
Oh, that, because I was watching the highlights and it says added time
45. I saw that as well.
Oh,
I
is
just
that
thought
what-
it
is
was
that what
on
it
the
said in
screen.
the
it says
stream?
45.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking hell, what's happening here?
Yeah.
The freeze of the
Aye.
shocker.
Yeah. So from the 77th minute, I think it was, about 45 minutes after that, it was time for the ambulance to come and whatnot. And then obviously that last 15 after that was just a bit of like, I think we just sort of sat back, tried to hold that 1-0 lead, and
Yeah, it's hard.
it was a weird game overall.
I think
Yeah.
emotionally for you boys, it would have
Yeah.
been tough.
It's just strange, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
and
For
it was a
anyone,
horrific
sorry, just for
injury,
anyone
so-
not listening, do you want to just, don't have to go into detail? Do you want to explain
Yeah,
what
you
happened
probably
to
explain
Darcy?
it better than me.
Yeah, so Darcy Madden, a key player for us. You know, one of the best guys in our team as well, which is quite
Did he say
sad.
that 15 minutes ago?
Don't tell him that.
Yeah, he had a head clash with one of the boys from St George. Went over and sort of landed awkwardly on his knee. Don't want to get into the details.
Yeah, of
'cause
course.
a bit gritty, but he won't be playing for the rest of the year, that's for sure. And it'll be a long road back for him. So
Was that a
Yeah.
concussion as well?
concussion
Yeah.
as well, major concussion. So all the best in his recovery.
Yeah, we
and-
should-
Yeah, all the best
speedy
of Darcy,
recovery.
mate. Aye.
yeah.
Shout out to him, that's a
Yeah.
shame. Quite a few injuries this year. Players, big one. A few. Sutherland had 2, I believe.
Early season, I think.
Early season. Manly had a couple of ACLs in pre-season. Spirit had one. Anthony Eunice done his ACL against Westminster the Wanderers.
Yeah, we had Malfara did his before Christmas pre-season.
Oh yeah.
Alex Malfara's been out for all season, and then I think that Lachie Hughes is waiting results, but it's looking like he's done his ACL as well. So I wish them a quick recovery.
You think the synthetic pitches play a part in that?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not in a position to know enough about
Yeah.
it. To
Well,
say yes or
Eunice
no.
done it for us. Eunice does this on grass at Wanderers. So I mean, I don't know if there's any correlation to it. Maybe not. But it would be hard. It would be a lot. It would take a big, massive meta-analysis to work it out. I'm pretty sure there's studies on it already. But
I think it's just a lot less give into it. So if anything does
There
go
is,
wrong,
yeah.
there's
oh yeah, you're
nothing-
stuck. Like you said, your foot
I
can
think it
get
has a
trapped.
factor to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want any players doing the ACL.
Nah, no,
It's
man.
terrible.
It's hard. It's hard. I think it's especially when football's such a big part of your life. Like during the season, you're there 2-3 nights a week. You're there weekend.
Well, then you
You
get
go out with the
probably
boys.
more important to that is I'm sure Darcy works full time. So he's got a fucking job and a family.
Yeah.
Try to get about and you're walking about hobbling around and for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, man. Then you get physio, rehab. Fucking no cheap either. So tough.
Well, we wish him all the best, obviously.
Yeah, speed
Yeah,
recovery.
thank you.
Yeah.
Aye, so sorry mate. So back to the game. 1-0 obviously was no, and then late goal, cracking goal for St George.
Yeah, great goal. Yeah, nothing else to say except it was a great finish.
No, it was a very good
top
finish.
corner. Goalkeeper can't do anything about it.
I actually feel
You
sorry
can't do
for
anything about that. You know what I mean? They
I
can't
feel
do
sorry for Sosky because it is one of them that he's played really well. Like he's made a lot of good saves, decent saves, looked comfortable, and then he's conceded in the 89th minute. With that, you're just like, fuck's sake.
How did you find St George? Because they've been a wee bit indifferent this year.
It's a battle, I guess.
Penshurst is always
Feels
a
like that.
small
It's a
pitch.
smaller field.
Aye.
Yeah, tough game. I mean, like we only had 2 shots, I think. 1 shot on goal. I think we probably needed to do better. But in terms of the game, physical battle, bit of a scrap at times.
Yep.
Yeah, 1-1's pretty fair. I
What
think
do
they
you
probably had more chances than us, actually.
What do you think of the marking for Massio Vecchio's goal?
The marking, I don't know.
They sort of
Like, it's
with
just
them
sort of
they
let him go
play,
free, no?
they play with the 3 centre backs and the 2 wing backs.
Wing back.
So I think obviously the wing back being a little bit higher,
Super
centre
high.
back tucking
He's
in.
so much
They've
time,
obviously
didn't he?
just got
Yeah.
a bit confused
Did he pass
with
though?
tracking
It was a
that
great pass.
runner.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
It was a
great
ball.
ball.
Great ball,
Yeah,
it was
great
great
ball.
ball.
And he had a lot of time. Like,
yeah.
it wasn't like he controlled and finished it. He controlled it, let it bounce a couple of times, and
Yeah,
And it's
100%.
good to see Maschio Vecchio's at the same celebration as you.
celebration. Yeah, far out. We're not doing that. We're not.
That was unreal, man.
Yeah.
Play him.
Him and Rafa fighting off how many backflips they can do.
Oh man, see if you're a gaffer, I would not want my players doing that.
I'm imagining you hurt yourself, man.
I
You
know.
need-
Oh, fuck.
We'd
Show
be
us
up for the
something.
season if we
I
tried
know.
that.
They're young and bouncy. They can do it.
That's it. It's one of them you take off and just be like, oh shit.
Probably not a great. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but everything I watch you boys play is very dangerous on the counter, especially with the eyes, pace, and the behind. And Penshurst's so small in it, so you're restricted a little bit with the space in there. So it
Yeah.
probably isn't a great pitch for you boys to get.
No.
Yeah, definitely
No.
not.
And
I feel
like-
like that's
yeah.
why we always benefit playing at win too.
Aye.
Nice big open space, you know, like you said, we like to counter. Obviously, we got me a bit of a hold up, drop off to Nick, and then quick wingers in behind. That's sort
Aye.
of when we look most dangerous. But
Yeah.
we just couldn't really do that on the weekend.
No, it's a tight pitch. It's a tight pitch. Right, who else you got, Chaz?
On to you, boys. Spirit beat Blacktown 4-1.
Aye, good game to be fair. Could have went either way. It was a tough. I think overall, I think we were good for the win. But like, if you've seen the highlights, it was like there's chances on both sides. Chris, our keeper, had a bit of a dodgy moment for the goal. Great ball with Danny Choi. He's whipped it like right across the face, like from distance, deep. Travis Majors put it in, and then we've scored a great goal. I think it was 22 passes, I think, and build up. Great. First, pretty much one touch all the way at the pitch to score. Then we scored right on half time. But then Travis Major misses a 1-on-1. Not a big chance, but it's like on an angle. And then they get one cleared off the line. Then Danny Choi misses a good header. And then we miss a couple of 1-on-1s. So it was like one of those ones. Next goal was massive. At 2-1. And then we get that third goal. And then I think that just killed it. It was 7 or 8 minutes to go. And then
Austin Oates.
young boy
Young
off
boy,
the
aye.
bench, just scored a cracker.
It was a good
Killed the
goal.
ball dead, dinked the keeper. Great
Aye.
goal. But big win for us because Blacktown were a point behind us. So tough game. The one thing I think lets Blacktown down a lot is the space, and I've mentioned it so many times, the
Aye,
space they leave in behind is incredible sometimes. I do have to mention Jack O'Brien and Mitch Malloy, and Nick O'Brien were all missing. So I mean, Mitch Malloy and Jack O'Brien probably been our best 2 players. So was favourable towards us. No, it wasn't. They brought in Marty Fernandez, who's tidy as. I mean, still got a lot of talent. And Danny Choi. So
Yeah,
standards still
Blacktown's
high.
funny, isn't it? Because they have a strong squad. I mean, they're always up there. But yeah, a result like 4-1. I mean, obviously, watch the highlights and could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But then
probably
they had the
the
result
floor
against
got
Sydney
flattened.
too, right? They lost
He got
4-0.
5-0. I think it
5-0.
was
5-0. Yeah, it's
Aye.
funny they have some results like that, but they're normally very consistent.
Well, the way I see Blacktown is always they're so dangerous going forward. They've got so much quality going forward. The defenders are obviously still good. It's just I just find the way they play very risky. They leave so much space in behind, and most chances and goals I see conceded against them is just a ball over the top.
Yeah.
And it seems so simple.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of players who play up front for NPL teams who are rapid, and they just expose that space.
You can, yeah.
Expose that pace pretty easily. But they have got those players who are class going forward to get him out of jail. And Jack O'Brien and Mitch Malley have done it a lot this year, but they two are missing. So
Are they injured or?
Jack was suspended.
Right.
I'm not sure what happened to Mitch. I didn't get a chance to speak to Mitch. Spoke to Jack briefly before the game. He said he was suspended, but I think it was only 1 game suspension.
5 yellows probably.
I didn't get sent off. So
Yeah.
scored against, was it usually he scored against the week before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
scored,
And Mitch Malley came on the last.
oh, did he?
It came in second half.
Yeah,
Well,
he
it came
did.
second half, I think. Yeah,
I think
so
they
I
had
don't know
an FA
whether.
Cup midweek or something.
Oh, I saw they have the
Oh, they're
FA
playing
Cup
against the Raiders tonight.
playing
Yeah.
tonight. I saw they are.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe
that's
that's
right.
maybe
Maybe that's why.
right.
Aye.
Yeah.
There you go.
Interesting.
Big enough for
Sutherland
us.
and Manly finished 1-0 to Manly. Sutherland with a big chance to go ahead in the first 10 minutes, but they sort of straight at the keeper. And then did someone miss a penalty? Yeah.
It's pretty relaxed pens.
Yeah, so they missed the penalty.
Very chilled penalty. For a team that's only scored 1 goal in about 11 games, it's
Aye.
very catchy. I think he's got rattle it.
I think you'd rather hit it to the moon than
Aye, so
maybe
got it
pass
through.
it in. Yeah.
Very
So
casual.
I don't
This
know.
might be a change in selection. They said
Yeah,
for
yeah.
penalty taker.
So see, you obviously you're a bit older than obviously like the kind of next
How old are you,
generation
Nick?
coming through.
29.
Ah, okay. Aye.
So you're looking at like you just walk up and smash the ball, eh?
Yeah.
Taking a pen.
Well, I don't know. When you're in that position where you need points desperately,
Yeah.
I think you'd rather just, I don't know, smash the leather off it.
Yeah. Hit it, man.
At least if you miss it, it's
Pick
like,
a-
oh,
pick a spot
you
and have a
tried,
crack.
tried to put it in.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if he scores it,
Yeah.
probably led, you know, but
And do you
when
know
you
what?
don't,
Obviously, jumping on the goalkeeping bandwagon, right? He does really well to wait so long
yeah.
because it's the hardest thing for a goalkeeper
Yeah.
is just to wait in the middle of the goal
Yeah.
and try and react. And he's done it really, really well. So fair play.
He's a good keeper, Lee Vicky.
Yeah, he is very good.
Mm.
And then Nizic had a good game in goal. Could have been
Yeah.
a lot worse. For
He's a good keeper, man.
he's
a
been
very
really
good keeper.
well.
Very
Yeah.
good keeper.
Yeah.
I mean,
Last week's
Sutherland
been great.
haven't had a great season, and if it didn't have
If it wasn't for
It'd be a lot
Nizic,
worse.
I
Yeah.
think. For sure.
a lot worse.
For sure.
And then they scored late on the 82nd minute.
I seen that.
Harsh for them, man. Like
Yeah.
they just need something.
They need some, yeah.
Yeah, they need a result from somewhere. It doesn't matter what it is. They just need something to get them 3 points. And then, but when you're losing games like that, it's fucking hard.
It's a hard run to get
man.
yourself out of
Yeah.
because every single person, the league's fighting. It's so tight. Everyone's fighting for something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a point from that, even that makes a difference.
100%
You know,
it does,
well,
man.
3 points would have been better, of
It's
course.
crazy,
but-
but I remember at the start of the year, everyone's Sutherland.
They're on
top six,
fire. Yeah, they're on fire.
Yeah, they were.
And then they get this new. Don't get me wrong, they did get a few injuries.
Yeah, they have.
Windows coming up, they might splash some cash, get some players. I've
Yeah.
heard a few names getting tossed around.
They'll need to. I think that like you look at the.
I think
clubs
that's what
as
you
a
have to
whole.
do, right?
Yeah, if they've just invested in the facility and the buildings, making it a big thing, they can't then find themselves in a
relegation battle.
Yeah, that's the next
The
step.
difficulty is, though, you're saying to people, when splash this cash just to get out of a relegation battle, not even to finish finals. They're not going to make finals, are they?
No.
No.
I think it's too far.
Too
now.
far. Too
Yeah,
big a
too far
task.
gone, aye.
Yeah.
far too far.
And Manly are still on about it. Defensive record's ridiculous.
Yeah, very good. 16 goals conceded. I think.
16 goals because he's second best in the league apart from
Yeah.
Marconi's 11, I think.
That's
Not bad.
outrageous. 11 goals
That is
in
outrageous.
Yeah.
17 games in NPL football.
Big man
That's-
scored
yeah.
3, hey?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
He's like, alright, defensively.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Toffee for the big man.
Apia.
Happy, aye. That was a. Did you see the highlights of that?
That
was
looked like
interesting.
one-way traffic
One-way.
a
Oh,
bit.
up until 2
Up until, yeah,
Centre
yeah.
Coast missed 2 fucking sitters, man.
Mate,
Yeah, they did.
Was it the first 10 minutes?
Over the bar,
Aye.
but
Yeah.
3 yards out.
3 yards out.
Yeah, it was good build-up play too.
It was, aye.
Yeah, very
Aye.
good.
Nice, yeah.
Dangerous.
And then Kuta punished him 2 minutes later. Decent finish, to be fair, from Kuta.
It was, aye.
And then a goal line clearance in the 23rd minute.
That was the one. So the goal line clearance was the one.
You
The
were
ball
talking
was
about.
pretty much on the goal line, and it's Appy. I don't know who the Appy defender was. Central Coast player were on the goal line, and it looked like I thought the Central Coast players headed it and it somehow went over the bar.
Aye.
The commentator said it was a great clearance off the line, so I don't know how the defender got ahead on it, but
That was
fucking...
a good reaction.
Was that? That was a great clearance, that, but as soon as that second goal went in, it could have been fucking 8-0.
Yeah.
Just because RP is a big team, a lot of experience,
Aye.
good players.
RP tend to
unfortunately,
do that
made
as
it.
well.
Yeah, they
like
do.
once they get on a roll, they
just
can
fly
put on
through,
like
yeah.
a 6-1, 5-0,
Aye.
that kind of scoreline.
They've got quality all over the
Talk
pitch.
about quality. That was Giacchino scored that goal against
The
you.
bomb,
boys,
yeah.
didn't he?
Bomb.
Yeah.
That was a joke,
That's
wasn't it?
right.
Top.
I played with him. He's done, like, after the game, some of the boys are like, oh, how did he score that? But when I was at RP and I played with him, he just does it for fun at training.
Yeah.
So, like, him hitting from there, it's dangerous. He
That's
scored
what
one
I thought-
last year. He scored, I think,
But that
one
was
or...
far out, man.
That was so far out.
On the highlights, on the app, I posted the social media clip of it, and it was like behind the goals, and it just looked like a good strike from outside the box. When you seen the highlights, because it is a big pitch,
Yeah.
it was
I
fucking
think
far.
just where
So
the
far out.
circle ends, it was just
Yeah.
in front of that,
Yeah, it's
wasn't
like
it?
Aye, that
easy
was-
35, 40 yards, man. Like,
Yeah.
But he's got the techniques to do that.
yeah,
He
he
does.
has it so well.
But yeah, I guess...
They had a
It's
good
far
view
out,
of it
yeah.
on their Insta, sort of behind the goal.
Yeah.
You got to see how far out it was, and I was
Aye.
like, wow, that was
Nah, but that's the thing. When that happens in a pitch, there's nothing you can do, man. You just go fuck.
Well done.
Bastard.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah, you can't do anything about it.
Well, that's even copped a few. Jack O'Brien's goal against you was a cracker as well.
Yeah.
Eugene was a cracker. Then the St George one was a cracker.
Yeah.
Not a lot you can really do with those goals, is
No,
there?
not really.
Sorry, going into the second half, Ortiz scored after a second. The wee boy Farinella's absolutely smashed
Good player.
the midfielder. Did you see
Oh,
it?
aye, did I?
Like, literally, like, through him.
He's a good
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
Aye.
Aye, he's a
Young
good
boy as well.
I'm pretty
He's a
sure
young
he
boy,
played,
yeah.
young boy. I'm pretty sure when you played with Sydney United in the cup final last year, World Cup final, I'm pretty sure he started centre midfield. Could be wrong. I'm pretty sure.
I think he
it's him.
did too.
Aye,
Yeah.
good player. He stood out a bit there as well.
Oh, class.
Young
good
too,
on him.
isn't he?
Aye, he's young, aye, but he's a good player.
He's young, yeah.
A transitional goal for their third. Rory Jordan finished it off. Jack Stewart scored their fourth, and then Rory Jordan scored his second and RPS fifth. Do you see the pass from the goalkeeper?
Yeah.
It's literally, man, it's just passed
Good
straight
assist.
to and celebrate. Literally, he's doing the goal and he just turned around and said, fuck's sake.
Ah, nightmare.
But it's hard that. I think that's always the thing with the academy teams. They're
Yeah.
always going to try and.
Well,
put
trying to
them
play
off
it from the
when they
back, it's
take
going to
risks.
happen.
I know,
Yeah,
it's 4-0
exactly.
down, 4-1 down, with 2 minutes to go.
You'd not
Yeah.
be finding me. I'd been kicking it over
Probably
the
just get rid
stand.
of it.
Just on that, Central Coast obviously had a catch-up game last week against Olympic midweek. And
And they lost 3-0?
Yeah, Olympic beat them 3-0. Cyrus Demi scored twice, and Seth Clark scored. But it was defensively poor. I watched highlights of that as well this morning.
Central Coast.
So,
They're in trouble as well, mate.
They are in trouble.
I feel like the academy teams are like that. When they're on, they're on, and then when they're off, it's...
Well, this year I
It's
don't
quite
think
bad.
Wanderers and Central Coast have been on really that all too often.
Yeah.
have they?
No.
Sydney
Yeah.
FC have been good in patches, but
Yeah, Sydney FC has started to really kind of find their rhythm a little bit. I don't know if they've had players drop from
Well, that's the
the
thing with
first
those
team,
teams.
scholars and stuff.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't know sort of what team you're versing.
Yeah.
They can turn up and drop players and be a real
Surprise.
challenge, or sometimes you can
Yeah,
just
exactly,
turn up
yeah.
and
Young
fall
boys, aye.
easy
Yeah.
cakewalk.
Yeah, well, Kaczarski dropped against us.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, they got a decent player that's dropping. So then you're like, okay, well, got to watch out a little
Yeah.
bit. But you don't really know what you're going to get.
I think Central Coast are the ones that, like, Wanderers and Sydney FC, it's always relatively close. It's like a 3-1 or a 2-2 each, whatever. They'll get points here and there. But Central Coast is struggling, man. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
the only thing they've got in their favour really I would say is Plume Park, because it's a Sunday. No one can be asked travelling up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Pish.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially coming from Wollongong, I wouldn't mind them getting relegated.
How long does it take you to get there?
Oh, maybe...
2.5 hours, maybe.
Big Darren must
Yeah.
love that journey.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a bus this year, so he can hop on the
Yeah.
bus.
Ah, that's
We'll
nice.
get
eh?
him on the bus, yeah.
when it was them and MacArthur in the playoff last year, I was like, 40 minutes, 2.5 hours. Come on, Bulls.
I know that bit, but mate, Time will drop, and of course the Newcastle Jets will come up. Stitches up.
Probably.
I don't know which one's better, yeah.
We'll go on to Olympic now. They drew 1 each with Wanderers.
Aye.
Um,
On that, but cannot mention under 18s game. Wanderers Olympic. Do you see this?
aye.
The Wanderers, the boy get knocked out.
Oh, I did see the video.
Aye.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
I think the boy, he got touched a little bit and he jumped and
Part
rolled
one
on the
of
floor, and
them
then a guy came up and...
Yeah,
did
so
he kick him, or...?
No, just so there's a wee stand in his hand or something, and then someone else has come in, and the wee guy from Olympics literally just jabbed him.
I jabbed
square.
him, yeah, right.
Oh, really?
And the wee guy's just up, gone. Yeah.
Said something like Santorini shite, mate. And he's like, took it to heart rapidly. No, that was I couldn't really see what the clip I just seen on social media was bit of handbags. Someone just took a dive.
Yeah, the first bit just seemed a bit like handbags. and then-
but then it's the video that's the one that I saw on socials has been edited, but I saw one yesterday and it was like literally just said a wee square punch in the face and the guys literally just hit the ground straight away.
Can't be doing that, can you?
Nah, definitely not, man. No, under 18
And
as well.
at that age,
Come
too.
on.
Yeah.
I know, getting floor. How was your game today, son? I got knocked out. It was good.
Yeah, good, just a punch to the face. That's not too bad.
Do you know what?
Did they finish the game?
No, I don't think they get abandoned, I'm sure.
Game got abandoned.
Yeah.
Oh, someone wrote. I seen on the comments. Someone saying, "Where's the video of the parents?" So something must have kicked off after it as well. They've had that. Did not have an issue last year with Wonders Olympic with the first team. When
Yeah, they
Wonders
lost
scored
points
late,
this year for last year.
I celebrated in front of them,
Yeah.
and it got went a wee bit tonto. Don't know what happened.
It's mental, isn't it, man?
What's the beef between Wanderers and Olympic?
Don't know.
Random.
Yeah, just random.
That is very random.
Because
Blackie was.
there wasn't many fans when we watched their games, so I don't know.
There's two guys camping the car park.
Don't know. Eh?
Yeah, it's strange, man.
Wanderers they get a fair bit of people to their home game, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Aye, but it's a lot of. I don't know, it's parents.
But didn't they have flares last year?
Yeah, the
At some of their
NPL
games?
boys had flares last year.
Well, did they,
yeah,
aye?
did.
When we played Sydney FC last Friday, there was like 11 Sydney FC fans, like must be first team fans just singing in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, fair play to them, but
Yeah, good on them.
aye,
Yeah, it's nice.
following them everywhere. Brilliant. So back to the first team. No one got knocked out in the first team, did they?
No. Just trying to see what was the highlights in the game. Cyrus Demi had a big chance in the first 10 minutes. He's headed the ball wide of the goal. And then he's obviously made amends towards the end. He's equalised with 10 minutes to go.
He's a good big player, man. Big Cedric.
Big Cedric.
Aye, good player.
Gibson made a few good saves throughout the game as well, to be fair. And that was it. The highlights weren't overly, there wasn't that much happening in the game. So I've tried to obviously make most of it and confuse myself. And
Olympic have been, again, just do what Olympic do. Just win a game, draw a game, lose a game.
Bit like us.
Aye,
Almost same boat. You know, we have a good win against Marconi, and then
Hard to
the next
read,
week we
man.
can't replicate it. You know, like,
Yeah, using
It's just
Olympic is so hard to read. Sydney United similar as well. I just don't know what you want
it's
to
just
get.
consistency.
Yeah.
Like we're sort of lacking a little bit of consistency, which
do
I
you-
think
why do you think
Olympic's the
that is?
same. I don't know. Like you can say injuries
I mean,
is one thing, but
you're
every team
a
has
big
injuries.
miss, obviously. You're one of the key.
Yeah,
points
having
for
Lachie out
obviously.
is you got to change the way you play because we haven't got that striker to hold the ball up like Lachie. So then that throws a spanner in the works. You got to kind of change the way that we play. But then again, you can't really make excuses at the end
No,
of
of
the day.
course,
It's a team sport, so we got to try and come together and get the wins. But I think that's what it is. Just consistency, getting like back to back wins
yeah.
would probably definitely help with the confidence for the team. But when you sort of win one, lose one, then draw, then lose, then win, it's all over the shop. It kind of doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help. I don't think we've started with the same lineup like 2 weeks in a row.
Is that
Since the
because of
start of the
injuries?
season, just
Yeah.
just having to shuffle things around and injuries and that. So obviously there's a bit of inconsistency there, but like Nick said, you can't put blame on that. Players come into those positions and
Still
they're
should be good enough to
expected
get
to
results.
do jobs, and we've left points on the table in games that we should be winning.
Yeah.
So we just need to fix that up in the next round.
Well, I think the good thing with the NPL this year is it's so fucking tight. You win 3 games in a bounce.
Yeah.
You're probably going to shut up 4 or 5 places.
Yeah, I guess I feel like there's now the top 5. It's sort of starting to break away, and then the 6 to sort of 10, 11. I don't know. But there's someone on 19. Like those teams in the 6 to 10, and their next couple 3 games, especially us, need to start to get wins
Very
to
important.
keep up with the top 6.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if those teams don't and they get a couple draws,
Just gets
then
bigger.
it just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Well, this weekend, Rockdale play Marconi, Spirit play Apia. So the top 4 are all playing each other. So that will give someone an opportunity to catch
Yeah, for
up.
sure.
So.
I still think you guys are still there's still a big gap between, I think 6, right? Isn't it?
I can't remember. I don't have the table in front of me, but we're on. I think Marconi's on 42, maybe. And Spirit's.
Marconi and Rockdale they're flying.
We're
they're
3
doing
points
well.
off Rockdale. We're 3 points behind Rockdale. And
Yeah,
8
you guys
points.
are caught up.
Aye, we're 3
Rockdale's
points
starting
behind
to hit some form
Yeah.
at the moment.
Mate, I was looking at on SofaScore. It shows you that little bar graph
Yeah.
of the score, and Rockdale's almost just all green.
Yeah.
Like the last
Yeah.
13 games.
Yeah.
They drew with SD Raiders, which is on there, and then they lost to Marconi, which is near the start. But it's
Yeah,
their
so you
form's
go-
ridiculous.
You go from 5th to 7th, there's now a 7-point gap from Blacktown. They're on 30 points, and Manly are on 23. But then, as you
And
say,
then after it's what, 20 or 21?
so it's 23, 22, 21, 21, 20, 19. So
Yeah.
you go from
So, yeah.
7th to 12th. There's
Yeah.
only 4 points.
Yeah, so those teams are super close, but then if they don't start getting results, I think in the next
Yeah,
couple of
then it
games,
starts
then it'll
to
just
go.
be a total breakaway. I think.
Yeah. Because Sydney United, they've
24?
picked up. They're on 27.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Olympic are on 27.
No, I said
sorry.
United.
Sydney United, yeah.
yeah.
Sydney United. That's consistency, right? They started off and everyone was
Yeah.
questioning how they're doing, but now they
Last
started
3
to
games they've won.
get some form and being consistent, and now they've pushed up.
I guess
That's it.
that's sort of what we're talking about as well, though. Like you win 3-4 games on the bounce, and then all of a sudden,
Aye. Well, that's a massive result for Sydney United at the weekend.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
That's exactly right, because they've won, in the last 5, they've won 4, lost 1.
yeah,
So now, again, that gap opens, whereas you look at below Manly, have won 2, drawn 2, lost 1. So if you imagine they turn 2 of those draws into wins, then it's bang, you're straight back
Yeah.
up again.
aye, there you go. Football, mate. 3 points, you're laughing.
Yeah.
The Sydney United game was an absolute cracker, by the way.
Yeah, that's it. There's the next game here.
The goals are all mental as well. The first one, mistake. Ball gets passed back. McAllister runs the keeper and scores.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the second Sydney FC goal. The keeper smashes it off of the back of
Oh,
the
yeah,
striker.
yeah,
The ball
and it goes in the goal.
fouls in.
Yeah.
But in the chance right before it, the boy, it's 10 men. The boy Sydney
Yeah.
FC wins 2 50-50s in a row. Flies into 2 tackles, wins it, breaks, almost scores.
Almost goals.
And then the goal at the end. What do you think of the goalkeeper for the last goal?
probably should have saved it.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you should have saved. But then,
Ah, come on.
Protecting the keepers.
Man, just got to save that.
but do you know what, right? Not many people shoot from there. That's the reality,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you're looking
Because the
at
keeper's
yourself-
just got it covered, mate, that's why.
But that's it. So, not many people shoot. So you're one of them where, and again, for me, that's my priority is the shot, right? But now the way they're coaching the young goalkeepers as they come through is to be proactive and try and protect that space.
But yeah,
So now goalkeepers are almost too much concerned about what's going on with that ball getting squared, and they're not. It's almost as if the goal's like an afterthought
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In terms of protecting the space.
Yeah.
So it just looks like he's a wee bit like, I'm going to go into that space, and then he fires it near post, and it's done him.
yeah.
That is, it's hard.
So, should you have saved
So
it?
keeper should have saved it.
Fucking hell.
Probably. Aye.
Political answer there, just.
But Bailey Rose scoring twice, but that's good on him, man.
Yeah,
It's a bit,
that's good.
I wouldn't expect it. My fullback.
Fullback getting
Yeah,
a
2
couple
goals.
of goals. Yeah,
And there was a red card as well, Sydney FC.
Yes. Who was it get sent off?
I can't remember the boy's name.
Will Kennedy get sent off.
Aye. Well, there you go. That's a big point. We're talking about points. Like,
Yeah.
I watched the last 10 minutes of that game, and the Sydney FC got pep. Sydney United had like 3 big chances in the last
They did. They had a
5
couple of
minutes.
one-on-ones
Yeah.
and whatnot.
But aye, got results. Fair play
Then
to them.
again, you look at talking about the academies, and it's, Gus has been playing the past few weeks, and he's
And
obviously
now
had
he's
to go
gone
on
up,
his
yeah.
thingy,
Yeah.
and then it just.
Yeah.
I mean, Sandy's a good keeper, but it's just the level drops a bit for them.
Yeah, well,
innit?
Gus playing out from the back is unreal. I think he's really good with his feet.
Yeah,
It helps the way they want to play.
Houslet.
yeah,
He's to me he's one of the best keepers in the league.
yeah. He's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, really
he
good.
was
Yeah.
so good against us.
Aye, he's a
Yeah.
good keeper.
Can we? I've got to go to the toilet. Can we
Yeah,
quickly?
you go, mate. Yeah.
Aye, there you go.
Aye, just-
Let's go. Keep going. Aye.
Too much water on the way up.
Aye.
we just jump on to Rockdale. Bay opened the scoring in 20
Oh, aye, base scoring the, huh?
22
Yeah.
minutes.
Came back to the fans.
I just
Good
ran
solid
up.
fun.
I was waving everybody, man. That was brilliant.
Aye, class. That was.
That was quite far out, that strike.
Good
Yeah.
goal. Good goal.
Aye.
It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Bay.
Happy birthday, Bay.
Aye, class.
And
I think Casella almost doubled it up, both the extra
Aye, that's
up
right.
downs.
Aye, close enough, aye. Did Casella
made
with
a good
Rockdale
save.
as well?
Pardon?
Was he at Rockdale before Olympic?
Casella, yeah.
Aye, was he? Aye.
Yeah, yep.
He's run a bit like fucking Zorro, isn't he? His mask on.
mask on. Ali Ogler equalised 50 minutes after Bay scored.
But he's in some form as well. Ali Ogler.
The
He's
good
got a lot of
goal.
goals.
And then the own goal for St George.
I know.
It's a shame, man.
It was 2
Yeah.
goals in 5 minutes or something.
It was. The ball's come in and it's just headed in his goal, Nick Calogero. How did you say his last name?
You tell me.
I tried.
You're reading a bit of paper. I can't see it.
And then Rockdale, obviously Jurasevski, another goal. 20th goal of the season.
How many goals you scored this year?
7?
7.
Yeah.
What's your highest in NPL?
I think 15.
15. Fucking hell, man. It's ridiculous how many Euros, isn't it?
Crazy, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Erling Haaland of the MPL.
Aye. Absolutely fucking wild, man. Joke. He's...
Some ball from Chalaki.
Aye,
too.
yeah,
very good.
Isn't
They
that
two-
just
they
cheeky?
two-
He knew. He
Yeah.
he's just
they
like-
two, I would say they two have got a nice wee connection together. But
Yeah.
I'd like to know how many assists Chalakian's had for Euros,
Yeah,
including
yeah,
chances.
for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like he sets him up quite a lot.
Oh, definitely.
Aye.
Their midfield, like the way they play, is just all catered to getting him ball and goal scoring opportunities.
That's right,
Really,
man, if you got a guy that's going to score,
if you get a
more
guy,
often
yeah,
than
100%.
But I think Rockdale. I think the squad's just so strong, all over the park.
Yeah.
I think for the last 3 years they've been the best team in my eyes for sure.
Yeah.
Like
They're the hardest to play
I know
against, in my
Marconi
opinion.
won last year, but I think just from a footballing standpoint as well, the way that they play is definitely the hardest to verse.
Yeah.
Because they just keep the ball so well,
Mm-hmm.
move the ball so well, and you're always a bit like, we've got to turn up today if we're going to verse these
Right.
guys.
And they've got, I think, with Rockdale, for me, every time they cross the halfway line, I feel like they're very threatening. All the team you play against, though, I think they're the one team I'm like, every time, oh fuck, here we go. Like, you need to be concentrating constantly. I do think they're the best, like, all round. If you say to one team you don't want to play against, they'd be like, I don't want to play Rockdale. It's like, it's a tough fucking game, man. Like, obviously, Marconi's still fucking tough. Like, every game's tough.
Yeah.
But for me, they've got danger all over the park, man.
Unless you're Lucky Scott.
That was funny. We had Lachie on like 2 weeks ago, and we asked how's it like to play against Lachie, and he was like, usually actually it's not too bad, but he just fucking scored a hat trick against it. Brilliant, man. That was you had fucking some performance there, man. That was some result. I think anyone's seen that coming at the Palace. Brilliant, man.
But then, as you say, that's yous going from that high. They've not lost all season. Bang, smash. And
then Marconi go next week and win the next 2 weeks. And
Yeah, because it doesn't really mean much if you win one then lose.
And then
Like,
the
we lost 2 after.
Yeah.
it means nothing
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. No.
It doesn't really. Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard,
like it's
man.
good. You talk about it, but you got to worry about the next game. And
Yeah.
then if you don't get the result, it's like, okay, that was Marconi, but you know,
Yeah, we need to do it.
3
we need to do
points
that
in the
again
end,
the
that's-
next game. Yeah.
3 points. And what was so Rockdale comfortable with that same? And I think the game's got seen out fairly comfortably. I think after the second goal, I think getting at half time.
Yeah, it
I
was.
think Casella's chance is probably the changing moment. If he tucks that away and
Yeah.
goes 2-0,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then it's a different.
different game. But Rockdale pick up the win as they do, in phenomenal form. But this weekend they play Marconi. So
Yeah.
what do you think? Have you got it in the predictions?
Yes.
Aye, okay, we'll wait to predictions at the end.
And then last game was Marconi Mount Druitt.
That wasn't a great game of football. I watched that. I felt a bit of that. Wasn't great to watch.
It was a good first goal.
Could have ceased by
Mate,
Costanza.
good two goal. Both goals.
Yeah,
Dom's
both.
ball for the second one was a
Yeah,
cracker.
it
was
was
a great
cracker.
Great pass.
Great,
And
great.
first goal. Did Kennis's goal, first one?
No, Vela.
Was it Vela's goal?
Yeah.
From centre back.
What was
Yeah.
the,
So
what
they
was the
came
first
up,
goal?
played a 1-2.
Oh, was I? Can it bumped up? That was a great goal.
Play, that
was a great goal.
Yes, it just made a wee run round the
Yeah.
corner. And,
That was a great goal.
A
Yeah.
very good goal. And then, as you say, Costanzo's great ball. So Kenneth finished it well.
Did you watch the highlights of the Appia Marconi Cup game?
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking what that game that looked like.
Yeah. Some great goals.
Fucking goals, chances.
Yeah, yeah.
Unbelievable. Did you see
No, I
that?
didn't watch it.
Oh, mate,
Yeah.
get a chance to
It
watch
seemed
it.
like it was a great game.
It was, mate,
Unreal
there's a lot of sitters get missed right enough,
Yeah.
but it was Marconi peppered them the first 25 minutes. Again, highlights on chances.
Yeah.
Like a good 2, maybe 3 clear cut 1-on-1s missed, and then Appia got a goal. I think it was Jack Stewart maybe slipped in Cambiashi. A fucking ridiculously good pass. And then again, it was end to end. It looked like a cracker. But I forgot about that game actually. Just keep in mind there.
Yeah, 'cause that was last week.
That was last
week.
Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. Obviously, we'll just finish in this one. Mount Druitt pulled.
Penalty.
We'll go back from the penalty spot. But didn't really have any chances after it.
Nah, nothing really. Marconi, it's hard to. Marconi conceded 1 goal. It was a pen. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's hard to break down at the best of times. 2-1, seeing the game out at home.
Not if you have Lachie, it's easier.
Finish at 5-1. 5-2.
They're going to be coming after me next week. After this party.
3-on-1.
Touching on that, the Australia Cup. So you've got Sydney United 1-0, Granville Rage.
I know. You know anyone who was at the game or anything?
No, I don't.
Nah, not there.
I actually spoke to George this the day of the game, and he was like, "I just hope the boys turn up and give a good account of themselves," type thing.
Oh, was it 65 minutes? Something?
Nah, Mason Wells scored, and then Tigers battled Hills 4-1,
Aye.
and then as you say the
Appia and then tonight
3-2.
Blacktown.
Yeah.
Blacktown SD. Is that at Blacktown?
That's at Blacktown. Aye.
A good game. Good game.
Is that this
Tonight.
today? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to see SD Tigers.
SD is a good team.
Aye, they're aye.
They're not bad. I mean, they beat us in the cup, but they play good football.
They do, aye.
Yeah.
Aye, everyone says that.
Yeah.
And Tigers are the same. Mate. Tigers are like play good football, energetic, fit, well organised. So they're probably right 2 teams to be in there. Remember, they've had a good season so far. So top 2 of MPL2 and having Rockdale and
Excuse me,
what?
you're second.
Oh, these aye.
Thanks.
So I've not got updated later, isn't it? Sorry. Right. Well, be a good semi-final regardless. Even if Blacktown won.
Of course.
4 good teams.
Blacktown put us out. Blacktown was the one that they beat us 3-0, I think. Jump on quickly to MPL Victoria. South Melbourne back-to-back wins
And there you go.
to move away from the relegation zone. Avondale returned to top spot. They won, plus Heidelberg dropped points at home to St Albans Saints, saw the two of them change places. Victories for Preston Lions and Hume City as the top six put a wee bit of space between themselves and the chasing pack. Heidelberg United drew 2-2 at home with St Albans Saints. Dandenong Thunder beat Dandenong City 2-1. Oakley Cannons beat Port Melbourne 4-1. Hume City beat Green Gully 3-2. Avondale beat Melbourne Knights 5-1. Preston Lions beat Altona Magic 2-0. And South Melbourne beat Melbourne Victory 4-2.
There you go. This episode is brought to you by our major sponsor, Insurers, your trusted partner in all general insurance, experts in construction and home warranty insurance distribution through IKEA.
They're the go-to team for builders and homeowners needing reliable professional cover. Thanks to Insurers Pty Limited for leading the way in protecting what matters most in the building industry. MPL2. Do you know much about MPL2, boys?
Not too much.
Nah. Sorry. Sorry. Just as peasants over here, I'll just run through it quickly. In Lions, lost 2-0 to Rydomere Lions. Big result actually that because Inter Lions have been really good the past maybe 5-6 weeks. Ahmed Talib scored and Robert Eramugo scored either side at half time. Big result. MacArthur Rams beat Bankstown City 3-0.
MacArthur Rams were sitting bottom, aren't they?
Yeah,
They've got a new gaffer.
New gaffer. Bankstown City beat SD Raiders last week.
Is Bonnerig sitting down the bottom too?
Aye, bottom.
They're bottom, huh? Yeah.
Crazy, man.
That is crazy.
What was the Scobie House?
2-1.
Fucking hell, man. They're in terrible form.
Yeah, it was all the goals in the first half.
Terrible form.
SD Raiders lost again at home to Hakua.
Well, we got chinned. Well, I got chinned in the weekend because I said the Raiders wouldn't get promoted.
Aye. Who changed you?
One of the lads at Spirit.
Aye.
I guess it's hard. Like they're going on a cup run too. Like it's a pretty taxing on the players to be playing Wednesday, Saturday. It's at some point like something's got to give.
Aye, it's tough. Aye.
I believe there's got a few injuries as well at SD. Is sort of the word in the street. So maybe it's taking its toll. They went 1-0 up in the first half. Hakoa came back in the second. Nicholas Tooley and Samuel Young scoring to win 2-1. Northern Tigers beat Mounties 1-0. And congratulations to Lachie Lloyd. He's played 150 games for Northern Tigers.
Nice.
That's
Good.
class,
Good.
man.
That's very good.
We beat Dully 1-0. Went down to 10 men after an hour. Tim gets sent off. And Emilio scored in the 93rd minute.
What was the goal like in the last minute?
Free kick. Wide. One of those good deliveries. It's kind of on target, kind of a shot, come cross, and it's just got a wee nick. Emilio's tossed it in.
Crazy.
Aye, from it,
Should the keeper have saved it or?
a great finish.
It was a great finish.
I was actually, to be fair, I think from us it was a good win from us. You know that way, like if you've win 2-0, 3-0, it's like comfortable, but it was hard. Like it was a really tough
93rd minute win is always amazing. Always the best.
So aye, boys were brilliant, especially going down to 10 men. Bulls beat Berries 1-0. Newcastle Jets drew 2 each with Spartans, and Bonnyrigg White Eagles lost 2-1 at home to Hills United. It sees them sitting bottom of the table. I'm going to MPL3 quickly. Fraser Park lost 1-0 at home to Dunbar. Dunbar scored in the 95th minute. Zachary Marinos. They played the full second half with 10 men as well, Dunbar. It's a good result for them.
They're playing well.
Dunbar? Aye. Good results recently.
Aye.
Central Coast United and Gladesville Ride Magic drew nothing each. Sydney Uni lost.
As I said, didn't when I checked it.
Aye. Nick Todorowski scored for Hurstville Zagreb.
Right.
To 1-0. That's top v bottom. See, I tell you, they're getting better.
Sydney Uni's not won a game all year.
Oh really?
They haven't won a game all year.
No.
Well, yeah. But they're getting better.
We're getting better.
They're getting better. Picking up a wee point here and there. You know what I mean? So it's like,
You're seeing progression. There's progression.
Progression, but they lost at the weekend.
Hawkesbury beat Prospect 5-2.
Mufties.
I know. It was 4-0 at half time. No, 3-0 at half time, sorry. It went 4-0 Then he came back 4-2.
Have you got top scorers each league?
Nah,
Obviously,
but I can get it.
who's top scorer in your league? Because we
Kai
know
Denton.
so Kai Denton. He's surely, if he doesn't go, he'll go
He scored
MPL1.
15 goals. I actually checked this morning.
So he's on 15. Euros on 19. Oh fuck, he's not far off
Euros
Euro.
on
You're on 20 now.
Oh fucking hell. I'm pretty sure he broke some record last week. Or he's moved up in the charts.
I think
All time.
Is he fifth all time?
I think maybe fourth now. I read somewhere. I don't know. I can't
And
remember.
then you were saying, who was it? They're saying that his goals during the COVID seasons didn't count or something.
Bay was telling us. So he scored like
But they didn't count.
Nah.
Yeah.
So he scored like 8, I don't know, was it 17 goals or something?
Don't
Like
know.
that? So he scored like probably scored like 20 goals
Yeah.
in the COVID year. And they played 18 games.
18 games,
and they
the goals
scrapped
don't
all his
count.
goals.
They scrapped him.
Aye, that's a joke, innit?
Yeah,
Like,
no, that
especially,
should
like,
count.
You should
100%,
count it.
man.
Yeah.
If it's in it, like, you played 18 games in a season,
100%.
that's a fucking goal, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a joke. So anyways, I think he can't be too far off. If you include that, he's probably the book record.
Aye.
Yeah, that's why he needs 30 this year, so he's on his way.
He's fucking on track. Parramatta and Granville Rage drew nothing each, despite Granville getting Jad Musa sent off in the 40th minute. Camden Tigers lost 3-2 at home to Nepean. Munyaradzi Muchemwa gets sent off for
Who?
Nepean. Munyaradzi Muchemwa.
So you've pronounced that no problem, and you can pronounce that guy in MPL1.
But you know what? It's a Shona name. He's from Zimbabwe, so it's like it's easy for me to read it.
Oh, aye.
Whereas I don't know Greek names, I'm afraid. And South Coast Flame beat Bankstown United 3-0.
There you
Kay
go.
Kinsella, Taka UK Kayano and Harrison James goal scorers for South Coast Flame. Done MPL3.
Sweet. Well, do the personal insights bit, right? Do the team, and then we'll go to careers.
And then we'll do the team before the careers.
Do the team before the careers.
Right, okay, I've got mine in my bag.
Right, okay. So, chat like
on the spot here, boys.
Just looking at
our faces all shitting themselves, man.
you've just come on a bad episode time. So, what we asked, two quick questions. We always ask game day prep in terms of what's a match day prep like, typical day. Start with you, Nick.
Changes now, having a child.
Well, let's go.
Whatever he needs.
What?
So yeah, just wake up, make sure baby's happy, change his nappy, and then try and get out for breakfast. Me and the wife and
What do you have for
and the
breakfast
kid.
game day?
Just eggs on toast.
Standard,
Everyone-
man.
Standard eggs on
Everyone's
toast.
eggs and
Yeah.
toast, man.
Yeah, I don't want anything too heavy and a coffee, and yeah, that'll do me. Maybe a little sweet on the side if I'm feeling it.
Wee cheeky brownie for the boys.
Chicken brownies, yeah, we'll save it for later. I'll save it for match day. And that's it really, just pretty simple, just
Lunchtime,
try and relax.
no pre-match meal in.
Lunchtime just depends how I feel. I don't really have a strict sort of schedule that I have to do. I might have when I was younger, but as I got a bit older, just a bit more relaxed and just sort of go as the day.
Okay.
Like no plans.
Okay.
So, but definitely go out for breakfast and a coffee, and then lunch either make it at home or go out again. But that's it for
What
me.
do you do post-match? Do you just have stuff at Wolves?
Post-match? Yeah, post-match we go to the frat after, which is good.
The what, sorry?
The frat?
The frat.
The fraternity.
Club.
Darren's house.
Yeah, so we just get there, have a pizza or pasta
Oh, nice.
and a catch-up.
Couple of beers.
And then away games, just get some food on the way home.
Yeah.
Get the leg compression on, and that's it.
Aye, class. Hey, were you?
Yeah, I'm not like don't really have a specific plan at the moment. A lot of the Saturdays are NBA playoffs are on, so
Are
sit
you a
at
big NBA
home.
fan?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
Class.
like watching it.
Who do you
So
follow?
just like watching it.
Aye.
A couple of cheeky bets here and there, maybe.
I just can't see on the I used to do a bit of work with Bay in the gym, and Bay, I remember coaching him in the gym, and I'd only just met him, and every time was a rest between sets. On his phone, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing on your phone? He's like, oh man, I've got this fucking bet on. It was just this big accumulator of his NBA games, man, fucking constant. And I always remember him saying, he said, there's loads of lads in NPL are into the NBA.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like, could you send me a few bets sometimes? with it?
I dabble with NBA as well. It's fun.
yeah. It's
fun.
nice.
But I think this year's been harder than last year.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a lot harder this year.
What do you know about NBA? Come on, give me something.
Loads, mate.
Go on.
What do you want to know?
Who's in the finals? Who's in the playoffs?
No idea.
So watching NBA.
Yeah, so just a little bit of NBA, like you said, eggs for breakfast. Watch a little bit of NBA to pass the time during the day, and then sort of start getting ready. I got no real superstitions or traditions that I have to
no
follow.
meals, nothing, just standard.
Just standard, yeah.
That's
Sort of
called a
take it as it
season
comes.
pros, man. Just go with the flow.
Getting the job done.
Do you know, I think that no matter what time your game is at, your full day's consumed by the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
It does my head in
Yeah,
sometimes.
go out for lunch, no problem. But I got to be home by this time.
I
Or
mean,
I want to rest a little bit before.
Emma hates it. Like my missus hates it because
Yeah.
it's like I want to do this, and I'm like, I won't be back in time. I need to have a nap.
Yeah.
She's like, Chaz, can we not just go and do this? I'm like, no, but I need to sleep at this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's hard, man.
And you can't do anything that sort of consumes energy during the day.
100%.
Like, can't go to the beach or
Yeah.
something, like for a
Yeah.
swim and that, because just got to be careful.
You just need to save your money, your energy to walk to tab, mate.
Yeah.
Gotta get the dopamine out.
Chaz always also asks players, what is your favourite movie of all time, and what would you watch, and what would you eat while you're watching it?
Favorite movie, definitely series, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter as well.
Yeah.
A few Harry Potters, so we have.
Yeah,
He's massive Harry
I
Potter.
think you're the same, eh?
Yeah, I'm
We talk about it. We talk about it.
Harry Potter.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I'm the same.
My missus goes, it's a bit annoying how much I watch it. Sometimes if I want to have a nap, I'll just put on Harry Potter, man. Do you do the same?
Hold on a second. Damien, can you do us a favour? Can you just check these lads' hard drives for me?
I don't know why. It was like childhood thing. It was the
exact
first
same.
Yeah.
box we had as kids.
100%.
And whenever there was something we wanted to watch, like me and my brothers, just pop on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And then it's just an easy watch. I think now I've watched it so many times.
You'll actually start a wee Quidditch team you're talking about off air.
Do you know what? Yeah. Maybe we should, huh?
Not going to get on the field.
Yeah, so what was it? Favourite movie?
What would you eat while we were watching it?
And what would I eat?
What Harry Potter film, but
For fuck's sake.
Maybe Goblet of Fire.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like 4.
Yeah.
I like Half-Blood Prince, that's mine.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah.
Even the OG
Yeah.
is good, Philosopher's
Yeah.
Stone,
I
but
don't mind
you have to
Harry
work.
Potter, the OG, what's
but-
that?
Like, but you have to work yourself up to watch it because obviously it's not HD, right? So
Yeah, 100%.
you gotta work your way. Yeah,
That's
but
funny,
yeah,
man.
I'd probably say Goblet of Fire.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy he'll be sitting inside gutted the fact you're sitting here loving Harry Potter.
And food, I don't know.
What would you
I
eat?
don't know. It depends when I'm
What would
watching the
Harry
movie. What would Harry eat?
Dirty bots every flavour bean.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
chocolate
But it was on the cart in the train.
So, would you know got a favourite snack, like a movie snack? You went to cinema, what would you eat?
Oh, movie snack for sure. Popcorn.
Okay,
Yeah, it has
Can't
to
go
be.
wrong.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to bring that mega butter popcorn. The good popcorn company.
Keep
But
forgetting.
it's superb. 10 out of 10. If you go to Woolies, there's a brand of popcorn called
Mm.
the Good Popcorn Company.
Okay.
Mega. It says mega butter, and it's just in a fold pack. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, if I'm at home, like coloured popcorn or caramel popcorn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Decent.
Your snack the same?
Probably popcorn. Maybe throw some Skittles in there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skittles and popcorn.
I don't mind that either. Some people with Maltesers, don't they?
Yeah.
But you Harry Potter as well?
Probably Harry Potter, yeah. I just like going to the movies when I was young on the release dates and stuff like that, first day out. Maybe throw a Happy Gilmore in there for one comedy.
The second one's coming out, you see that?
I know, yeah,
Aye.
saw the trailer.
I
Keen.
don't know how that'll be, man, but surely it'll be decent.
Yeah, it'll need to be.
I know, sometimes they ruin it with the second one,
I
so
know.
just got to make sure.
I know, I'll be class to. No, to be fair, I thought Anchorman 2 was no bad. Anchorman 2 was alright. They usually do fucking make an ass of the second ones, don't they?
Like Jump Street as well, that was a good.
That was
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
good class. They ripped it, and they not at the end of Jump Street, they ripped the arse out of. They took the piss at themselves
Yeah.
for doing the sequel.
Doing the second.
That was good. That was class. Chaz, you want to ask the karaoke song?
Aye, if you had to sing one song in karaoke, what would it be?
Biggie Smalls.
Oh,
What song?
I can't remember
all
the
a
name now.
dream.
Yeah, he's through that magazine. Yeah, what's that called?
that would call it was all a dream.
I can't remember the song name
Yeah.
is, but that song, Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think it's called It Was All a Dream.
It's not called It's All
No,
a
it's called something else. But that's what I would sing, which
Yeah.
is kind of weird.
I would love to.
If you
I've
don't
got
know
no
Betty,
idea. You signed for Wolves, I should have to do an initiation song.
No, we haven't done it.
Yeah,
that's
I got away
that's the
with it.
experience, I think.
Mate, please get happy to sing Biggie Smalls, initiation night out, Big Popper.
We'll send you
No,
some
it's not Big
video. We'll
Popper,
send a
it's not Big
video.
Popper,
in.
yeah.
Popper.
Not the way.
No, that's a
No,
different
it's
song.
not. It's
Different
not.
song. Get him to sing that song and record it, please.
Yeah, we'll send a
I
video.
would love
in.
to see
I
you
sang that
back
at
to Biggie
Brisbane. At
Smalls.
Brisbane, I sung that, and people were like, they were confused. They're like, "What? You're singing this song?" I was like, "All right."
Aye, what about you?
I'm probably more of an old school, maybe like a Living on a Prayer,
Oh, aye.
something like that.
Aye.
I'd be more down that road. Not much of a hip hop.
It's called Juicy.
Juicy,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. Yeah, we need to get a video.
Yeah.
We'll just pin it to the top of champagne football.
I think the first one I actually did was Eminem, Mockingbird, And then I evolved. And then I was like, I was evolved. And I was like, in the studio. I was like, yeah, this is a bit more me.
A slightly darker tan.
You got a spray tan on me. But this is a bit more me now. Yeah.
Got to Queensland for the summer, came back.
Class.
We had our initiations, the initiation song, but I remember Jake Chidiak, he fucking turned up with a fucking guitar and a harmonica and sang.
Put on a good show?
But aye, done well, aye.
Yeah.
Average singer, but decent on the guitar, decent on the harmonica, and sang. I can't remember what he sang at the time, but maybe Ed Sheeran or something.
We used to at Rydalmere, they'd go upstairs and like some of the boys like on a Thursday night after training would be sitting there and just put the karaoke on and you just all start singing.
That's good. I think it's hard at some clubs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it's like you're not professional, but kind of find it hard sometimes, hey?
Yeah.
One of the team I used to play for, we did. This was like years ago. We used to do I Got Talent, so like America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent. So when I first turned up, like right, all the new players. I was in America, so like all the freshmen need to do a skit. I'm like, what the fuck? You need to make like a comedy skit. So we had to do that first. So it was like me and these like 8 lads. We had to do a staff skit. So we just done one. Like I pretend I was a gaffer and just done all his like stupid words into the piss sort of thing. It went down all right, but then we had to do I Got Talent. So every person had to do. It could be any talent you want, and then they had the physio, the gaffer, assistant gaffer, and then somebody else was like the judges. And some of the stuff was fucking nuts, man. Like people were doing, some people sang, some people just do like, I can make this noise with my arse. Like, just like everyone's got weird and wacky talents. I did that. Do you remember that trick? It was like the levitation trick. Oh, trick.
Yeah.
And you put people hold each arm and you sit them down. So I had one of the lads, Chris McFadden, who's one of the Scottish boys there. So he's like, guys, I've not got anything to do. And you need a prop, basically someone who doesn't know what's happening. So I'm like, mate, I can make you levitate if you want. He's like, fuck off. I was like, I'll just pretend that's your trick. You can levitate and I'll be the guy who makes you levitate. He's like, oh, fucking brilliant. So I'm like, boys, I need you all to be super quiet when we're doing this. Turn the lights down, dim the lights and all that. And then I've got these 2 other boys with me. So they've all sitting. Have you done this before?
No.
So I would love to demo this right now on camera. So basically what happens is you would sit like right now on the floor. So say Nick goes on this side of you, sit next to you, and he'll put his arm in here. Right. Lockie will be on that side of you. And I'll be saying to you, right, on a count of 3, you go 1, 2, 3, you'll lie back, and I'll get you to levitate. So you go 1, 2, 3, and the way you lie back, they'll put their leg over your leg, so and they've locked you so you can't move, and I'll sit behind, I'll put my scantron and sit in your face.
Sit in your face,
aye. And if you try and get up, you obviously make it worse. So that's me kissing McFadden done that.
Badge of the main region.
He got boom right in my face, man.
Right in your
that was
ass.
him done for the whole year, man. Absolutely done. We done it. Somebody done it the year after as well. No, I didn't do it the second year. Someone done it the year after, man. But they're brilliant. Those Got Talents because it forces people to get out their shell. Do you know what I mean? Like people who, like give me something, and somebody's always got some mad talent they didn't expect, man. But initiation. Did you do initiations this year?
No, we haven't. Still haven't done it. We talked about it, and then when we got to, it was after.
We had a dinner. Because it's just.
In season's tough, but I think if it's not done pre-season, it's pretty difficult.
It's kind of, exactly.
Unless
it sort of needs to be done really early to like just bring the new guys in, have a laugh, sort of thing. Like,
sit in someone's face. That's you one of the boys now, mate. Do you want to do this team thing?
Yes.
So we done me and Chaz were talking like we'll do a team of the year so far, right? But then why just do a team of the year? We said we're going to try and make it hard by saying we can only pick one player, maximum from a team. So what we've done is picked 11 players, done it individually, and you're only allowed to pick one player from a team. You can maybe, probably too tough for you to do it off the top of your head. But I'm going to get my phone, I'm going to tell you who you've done yours. It's just it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
So make up a team of the year from the league?
From the league so far.
So
we've done it so far, but like I said, you can only pick, so say if I pick one of you boys, I can't pick anybody else from Wolves.
Okay.
You can pick any shape. We didn't go too first on like
having a sitter and having like just 10 and whatever.
Defender, midfield, attacker, basically. And obviously a goalkeeper. 11 players. So some people miss out. Obviously 5 teams will miss out. So I thought it was very hard.
I didn't think it was that hard, but maybe my team will be shite. But I know less than obviously you.
They're all going to be good players, but I just feel like some players are very hard done by not to be in it. But anyway, right, Chaz, you want to go?
Goalkeeper.
Right, okay. I went Gus.
I went Gus as well.
Hoysflit, okay. They're Sydney FC. Which are the fit?
I went a back 3.
So did I.
So I went Lachie Griffiths from Marconi.
Yep.
Jesse Perez from Manly and Jamie Plasevsky from Spirit.
I went Lachie Griffiths, Aganovic, and Perchevsky.
Right, okay. I went Bailey Rule and Kamada as the 2 wide players.
I didn't do
Wing
wide, I
back.
just done 5 midfielders.
I went kind of wing back, so I went Bailey Rule and Kamada, and then across the middle I went Mitch, Malia, Nicholas Olsen, and Bay.
Right, I went Bay, Seth Clark, Carlos de Oliveira, Olsen, Jack O'Brien.
Right, and then I went Euro and Ortiz.
Aye, so that. My toss was between Kubu, starting your Kubu, but then Spirit, Manly, Marconi, the 3 best defensive.
That's what
It was so hard. I was in defenders. I struggled with defenders big time.
Any problems with our teams, boys?
Anyone you think missed out?
I don't know, I find it's super hard to choose.
It's hard off the top.
your
Yeah.
team. Also, because like I don't know, do you also have a relationship with people? Sort of, you might know someone more personally, so then you're like, oh,
Yeah, putting
you
someone
choose him
yeah.
instead. I
Yeah,
find
yeah.
it hard sometimes.
I think
They're decent teams, yeah.
I found it hard because, like, for instance, defensively, like Blake Shooter's been in centre half for Rockdale, right?
Yeah.
But you're not putting Eurosevsky in the team. You can't
Yeah.
not put Euro. Then
Yeah,
he's
that's
like
true,
fucking
yeah.
goals
Yeah.
or 20
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah.
So you're straight away snookered. That's Rockdale gone. Marconi, best defensive record. There's obviously players scoring goals, but you can't not put a defender into.
Aye, the team
But then you go Griffith. If you've done a full team of the year, you're probably getting a few for each team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there you go. That's your team of the year.
And do you know what's going to happen? People are going to be unhappy with our teams of the year, and we're going to have people. being like,
everyone's
social media,
opinionated.
Yeah.
isn't it?
How's he missed out?
How's he not in it?
I know why you chose him. You had a coffee with him last
Well,
week.
he's birthday. We'll put B in for his birthday. I mean. To be fair, I think when you try and do it one for each team, I think it's tricky. I think it's tricky because somebody has to miss it. But anyway, that's a good crack, I think. Right, okay, let's go into careers, Chaz.
Gentlemen. Lachie, we'll start with you. We'll go captain first, do you know what I mean? That kind of hierarchy, respect has to start here.
Where's your armband? Did you bring it?
Tell us about your kind of football upbringing, mate.
Upbringing, like just locally when I was young, and then
So
moved
where's local?
Balgownie. So Wollongong was down there. Obviously started at a young age, 6. Sort of played up to under 10s. Then you get into the whole rep, like Illawarra, that sort of thing. Did like the Project 22 thing when I was 11 or around that age. Then went back to Wolves for a year, then to Apia for a couple of years, and then Sydney FC youth. Obviously did a little bit there for about a year, and then moved over to Wanderers youth that year after. And then I was there for about 3 years, signed a pro, sort of there for 3 years professional. And then, enjoyed that. Got to play some Asian Champions League. Got to play a fair bit of first grade as well. So that was a good experience. And then came back to Wolves in 2019 where we won it. So that was another good sort of memory, and just been there ever since.
So you've obviously done a wee bit of research. So your debut though for Western Sydney Wanderers, scored twice
Yeah.
against Wellington
Wellington Phoenix. We were down 2-0. And just first goal was sort of like just a fluky one, which people will say is exactly like me. In the box, like a bit of a tap in, and then second one was also a tap in. So they're the ones I usually score. But it was a good experience. And then I think Mitch Nichols scored a bomb.
Yeah.
We won 3-2. So good memories there.
So is this start right? 22 appearances, 22 goals.
In the MPL.
In
Wanderers?
MPL.
Oh, that was the
Yeah,
NPL one.
yeah,
I say, fucking hell, what a record that is.
With Wanderers?
Probably would have stuck around for a couple more years.
So you're in that MPL Wanderers set up. How did you find going from the Wanderers MPL into the A-League? Did you feel obviously it is a big difference MPL, but did you feel, because you're still in the Wanderers setup, did you feel a big difference?
It was a big difference, but also during that time where I was sort of playing, like I was training with the first team a lot. So that year when I was playing MPL, I would have been training with the first team 2-3 times a week as well.
Ah, okay. Yep.
So sort of eased into it that way. It wasn't really just a jump.
Yeah.
Got a fair bit of training in there, and then obviously next year help with a lot of older guys too. The team was quite experienced then with some good guys, Santa, Bridgie, even like Mitch Nichols and stuff. They're all pretty good guys, and just helped me come through, and just enjoyed it.
Did any of them take you aside, teach you anything?
Pardon?
Did any of them take you aside and teach you anything?
A little bit. Like it was. I never really took the opportunity. I probably should have to ask a few more questions, but I was pretty chilled out sort of kid that just went along with it. So just watching him more so, and then like Oriol Riera came in. He sort of taught me a little few things about holding the ball up and stuff like that. So just taking things from each player that you think, oh, you know what, like that's pretty clever. That's a good idea. That's pretty smart, and just sort of mending it to my own game, and then just went from there.
I think that's what you get. That's, as you said, like you probably wish you did ask more questions, but some of the things you learn from coaches, of course, most of the time, but see the little bits you get for a player who's older than you, man, it's fucking amazing, man. It's amazing. Just the smallest of things, the way you position your body or the way how you do something, incredible.
100%. The details.
Dark arts.
So then, looking at when you went in and you signed your professional, was that obviously you were doing well in the NPL space, and that's why you kind of earned that contract? How was that transition to becoming like a fully fledged like first team footballer?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, like it was a big few pre-seasons and stuff out there. A lot of running, and I'm not like naturally the fittest guy. So yeah, there was some hard sessions out there, but as you get older, you know, and the more you train with the first team, the more you just adapt to that sort of environment as well, and just sort of doing the little things that make you want to be there. You know, you get advice off other guys, and you just keep working hard and put your head down, and as long as you're enjoying it, you just plug along, I guess.
How did you find being in a full-time environment?
Yeah, I feel like at the time I probably didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. Probably took it for granted a little bit, you know, and I guess if I went back, I'd sort of make the most of it a little bit more, but I just sort of enjoyed it. Like I said, I was pretty relaxed, sort of young guy. Just turned up to training, did what I had to do, and sort of went home, so...
And nothing's changed.
Yeah. My body's a lot sore. That's probably about it.
And then, so when you left Wanderers, was there an opportunity to potentially go anywhere else?
Sort of. It was sort of mid-season. It was just one of those things. Like I'd been there for a while, a lot of training, like not really playing, not really getting an opportunity, and just sort of a bit fed up with it all. Like wasn't enjoying my football, and that's sort of the reason that I decided mid-season, you know, MPL was around the corner, and I just thought if it starts in 2 weeks, like it's an opportunity to go back there and play football.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that and sort of talk to Wanderers. They were happy to like mutually terminate, which was good. And then, went back to Wolves, and it just turned out that we had a good team. So then we started winning, and really I got sort of like that enjoyment back for the game that season, just playing all the time. Like I think the team environment was great, you know, like just after the games, you know, we win every week, we're going out together. It was just a really enjoyable year. So I'm happy that I did it. And
who was your gaffer that year?
Luke Wilshere.
Oh, so it was, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy that I did it, and obviously looking back, like could have maybe like followed up somewhere else that was in a bit more of a professional setting or whatever. But at the time I was a bit fed up with just that sort of stuff. Like obviously I wanted to play, and I just wasn't really into like all the little stuff on the side either. So I thought I'll go back and play at Wolves for a year and get my enjoyment back, and sort of thought that maybe there would be more opportunity down the road, but just sort of didn't really come.
Well, mate, you've pretty much been a Wollongong Wolves boys obviously since you're young, so playing for that club and winning the comp must have been quite a big deal for you.
Yeah, it was awesome. And like I said, it made it more special because of the guys that we had there.
Yep.
Like, and one thing I think that we sort of pride ourselves on is we've always had a good change room.
Yep.
Everyone that comes in, you know, like we say no dickheads, and we meet everyone that comes
Mick
in.
snuck in.
How'd I get in there?
One gets past one gets through the gates every now and then. But we like, even this year, you know, just great bunch of boys.
Yep.
We all sort of love each other and always joking, having a laugh. You know, no one being a real prick in the team. So
look, I think that's something that's almost taken for granted a bit. See that the importance of actually loving what you do. So I think sometimes you can get a wee bit lost in the football, especially as you say, if you're not playing and things aren't going particularly well for you. You can very, very quickly turn, and it becomes like, oh, this is shit, I don't want to go, I can't be bothered this. And for me, I always look at football as being a bit of an escape. Do you know what I mean? Like, your life is your life, you're going to have all the shit that's going on.
Yeah.
But when you go to football, it needs to be a happy place. So for you then to have enough about you to be like, do you know what? I need to leave this to get my enjoyment back for it, and then still be playing 6 years later at a good level. It's class.
And that's tough for players too, isn't it? Because some players think, oh, if I get out of it, then can I get back in there, or is it the right decision to make?
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously as well, like it's a fine line. You gotta weigh up when to be persistent and when enough's enough, sort of thing. And I think like obviously looking at young players as well, like I would urge them to be more persistent, but it was just my head at the time. I just I didn't really have it in me.
I think at that, how old were you at that point?
About 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think now being older and you see, obviously hindsight's a great thing, but emotional intelligence is such a big thing that you just think, oh, that's not the way to be, mate. But if I look back to me when I was 17, 18, 19, you're tunnel vision. Like you're very emotional, you're reactive to things. Oh, fuck off, I'll decide, don't tell me what to do, I know what I'm doing. And then 5-10 years later you go, oh, I shouldn't have done that, he was right. And most people, as long as you've got a trusted network of people who you know for a fact are trying to help you, if you can believe they're trying to have your best interest, then it can work in your favour. I think sometimes people are surrounded by not necessarily people they take opinion, it's like other people's maybe doubts. It's like their mates' doubts, like, why are you doing that? And they start, I don't know why I'm doing that actually. When really it's not their doubts, it's somebody else's doubts. And I think I think that's when you need to have a really good, some people get good family networks, it might be coaches, it might be somebody else, but that is a tricky balance, I think, at that age, because it's alright saying as a 40-year-old, 50-year-old saying, mate, calm down or think this through, but when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, man,
it just goes through your head.
You don't want to listen to anyone else sometimes.
You don't, man.
Yeah,
you learn the hard way. Sometimes you make the right choices, but very often you make the wrong choices, and that's how you learn. You feel very quickly and figure it out.
I think as well, I went sort of like, when I first came in my first year, Bullet was there, and sort of some stuff with him in the club like didn't really go to plan, so I ended up playing a lot at the start. Whereas if I sort of went the other way, then I wasn't playing at the back end of my contract. Yeah. Where if I came in and I didn't play at the start, I think because I played straight away, I took it for like, I expected it. I expected to always be in the team.
And have that hunger to like.
Yeah. So then when that didn't happen, I guess I went the other way. Where if at the start I wasn't playing and sort of worked my way into the team to the back end, it might have been a little bit different.
Talk me through your debut. How was that to know that you're starting in a professional game?
Yeah. Obviously, it was pretty exciting. The nerves sort of kick in as well, and I just tried not to think about it too much. It was at Campbelltown, so it was a quick drive for me, and just sort of when I got up there and seeing the crowd and stuff.
How many was there, capacity-wise?
Quite a few. Yeah, the RBB was out. It was our first game of the season, so probably 15,000, which is more than...
Not bad, eh?
Yeah, more than I'd sort of played in front of as well. And it's just one of those things. You're nervous, and then 5 minutes in, it's just like, you're just out on the field. You're not worried about it, so... It was exciting, but obviously it went pretty well.
I mean, it's unbelievable, man. Like, it's one of those things, we speak about in the podcast a lot, about players who do make a professional debut, whether it be one game or 150 games. We had Kalach on, for instance, obviously, who'd played with AC Milan, and we still had comments on social media, people saying like, aye, but he hardly played. And you're like, man, 4 years at AC Milan. I mean, fuck off. There's always somebody who's got something to say, and regardless if you play fucking a professional A-League or Championship, whatever it might be anywhere in the world, to make a professional debut somewhere is amazing and something no one will ever take away from you. And as a striker to score a goal in front of 15,000 people, don't care who you are, what level you play at, that is like, anyone would love to do that. Anyone would fucking love to. I remember goals I scored under 14s, tap-ins. I mean, I'm like, if you scored in front of 15,000 people, you'll be telling everyone about it, man. It's incredible. Incredible. No one. And what about under 20s Australia? Play for them?
Yep.
Aye.
Yeah. Good. We so we went over. I forget where it was. I think it was Bahrain.
Was it?
So it was so hot, and we did a like pre-camp over there in Dubai, and then went to Bahrain. First game we beat China 1-0 from memory.
Did you play?
Started up top, sort of with Mario Shabao, George Blackwood, a few of those guys as well. So we had quite a good team, and then I hurt my ankle in the first game and didn't play the second game, and then we sort of played the third game, but it was just like young international soccer, like football.
You say that as if I would have a clue. That's like not good at national football, mate.
Yeah, but like those teams that you play, you know, they just sit off so much.
do they?
Like Vietnam's and that, like, so hard to break down. They just sit and counter, and the game, like, they're lying on the ground for 40 minutes of the game. Like
Time.
the in-play game is like
Very minimal.
45 minutes, like, because they're just getting stretched it off and all this stuff, and I'm just like, come on, bro, like, just play the game. Like, it's not the World Cup, like, come on, bro. But you know,
Can you imagine you saying to some wee Vietnamese guy, "Come on, bro"?
they got to do what they got to do. So frustrating, but yeah, it was frustrating that we didn't make sort of those.
Did they qualify?
We didn't qualify, which was a bit disappointing. But like I said, it was frustrating.
And you went to 23s as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it was 21s. I didn't do the 23s.
Oh, okay,
I think
21s.
I did 19s maybe and 21s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who'd you play against there?
19s, we went to Vietnam and we versed like a pretty big team over there. It was actually a big crowd, like probably got like 20,000.
Oh, okay.
We versed like the young Vietnam side that had like some dude from Arsenal. Like, this is a long time ago. But we ended up beating them actually, and I scored. So it was a good day out. But then in the older one as well, we didn't qualify.
Who'd you play for when you played against 21? Bahrain? Was that a 21s Bahrain game?
That was under 21s. Yeah.
In China?
We played China. We played. Off the top of my head, struggling to remember.
I mean, what? I can't even remember who I played in
Uzbekistan,
maybe.
maybe.
Fucking hell, man.
Like Uzbekistan. They had some.
You went to
big,
Uzbekistan,
strong
didn't you?
guys,
I went to
man.
Uzbekistan last year, aye.
Since
Did you?
FC.
Yeah.
No, but the honeymoon with the missus.
Check out the scenes.
Uzbekistan's a funny place, man.
I used to, it was like,
It's mental. Was it like it was very? See if you watch like a documentary on like old Russia.
Yeah.
That's what it
It's
was
like that. Yeah.
It was just like every building was like this. Everything was just grey. The people were even grey. Like it was mental, man. Genuinely, but not like as if they looked
Yeah.
but like they didn't look
Just like
they'd seen
two-tone.
like they'd seen any sun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was mental.
this black guy just stoned about.
Oh, my mouth, everybody.
So Chaz used to tell me this story when he goes back to Zimbabwe. Obviously, Chaz is black to us. When he goes to Zimbabwe, they all call him Santa. No.
This was the first time I went to the village. I was young, so they either called me Santa Claus or Murungu, which means the white man.
Yeah, right.
So I was a white man in the village, and I go back to Scotland, and everyone's like, "You black, this and this." Do you know what I mean? I'm like, guys, I can't fucking win.
Santa Claus, man. Unbelievable.
man.
That's wild. That is crazy. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you something about.
Santa Claus.
That's right, something about Santa Claus. I can't remember what I was going to ask you, Lachie. I was going to ask you something else. I get tossed off of that question.
National team? Something in
It
that.
was something to do with the national team, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was tonight's game. Australia Japan. Is it tomorrow's game? Australia Japan.
Is it 9-10 tonight?
It's
They're
tonight.
playing against Japan?
Australia Japan. Aye.
Yeah.
They have to it's for the qualifying, isn't it?
Yep.
Have you got Japan and Saudi Arabia? Is that the last two games?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, I hope we can win it.
Do you
Win
think
both
Japan
games.
is one of the stronger teams?
Japan's
Isn't
top team though.
they? But have they qualified though, Japan?
I think they already qualified.
Yeah, they have
Pretty
already
sure.
Which is,
qualified.
you'd hope is a.
Yeah, they just play a second strength team and we can punish them. But I think if you can beat Japan, it'll put ease on us playing against Saudi Arabia after. Because
Saudi Arabia are decent,
Saudi Arabia
it's
are actually
tomorrow.
decent, but I think now because we've got to make the plays there, so there's more foreigners playing now in the top league, so less of the locals are getting game time.
Right. Okay.
So the national team's sort of dropping a little bit in quality.
Right,
So I think that's why after the World Cup, the results haven't been too great.
Mhm.
So I think that works in our favour. Hopefully we can get points against them. But if we can get points against, even a draw against Japan, I think it's a top result.
Oh,
Japan are flying.
So
Japan are
They're really
rolling,
good.
they're saying they play Bahrain tomorrow on Friday. So Australia,
Give
Japan.
them some insight, mate. You know.
Yeah.
Scout report.
You're going to be playing 30 minutes of football.
Yeah, use up your energy because you're not going to need it.
Class, and then so that's you been at Wolves now for 6 years.
How many games you played for Wolves?
115.
115.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it said online.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
See, boys, I do my fucking homework.
How long? 15 appearances? Over 6 years.
Because obviously you're looking at a couple of years
COVID.
that were difficult with COVID, and then
Yeah.
the league was
Also 22
less
games.
Who do you
Almost
think?
every game, right?
There must, I know there's a lot, some people listening who are like into there's a actual page on Facebook on NPL history stats or something like that. 'Cause that's where I seen the Euro one. I'm interested to know who's got the highest appearances for NPL. Not like fucking 1970s. I mean, there's
But
like
some statistics are
NPL.
hard to find, aren't they, on NPL?
Now
it's more documented, but before it's not.
I don't know.
yeah.
Don't you?
Sometimes it is difficult to find.
But what I'm saying,
So,
some of these guys are like anoraks
Yeah,
on stats on that
I
sort of
don't
thing.
have all the
Aye, they have-
information.
We
But I'm more
played
NPL.
Blacktown probably, I think it was last year. I think Matt Lewis played like 300, 350
P50.
for Blacktown.
Because Travis Major just did 300.
Yeah.
They've done 300. And
Did he? Yeah.
Subby, Grant Colmwell, Subby for Spirit. I can't remember his, but he's got, I think, over 300 as well. I think.
Right.
I think. Obviously, if you're there, and you're a kid,
Yeah.
Yeah,
adds up.
yeah.
Obviously.
You'll clock up the
Aye, I'll clock
the
up.
appearances, yeah.
Decent. Right. Mr. Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what have you got for us, mate?
How many clubs you got?
Oh, I've got 17, 18.
Probably right, to be fair. Far out.
He's actually put it into a rat.
That's my next rap.
Imagine. That was decent. So your younger years.
My younger years. Born in Sydney, grew up in Perth, played in Perth
Right, okay.
for a couple of years, Fremantle United. Then I came to Sydney
What age did you come back to Sydney at?
when I was 9.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up in Perth till I was 9, came back to Sydney. Just played local around Oatley till I was 13, and then I went to Sharks.
Yep.
And went from Sharks from 13s all the way to first grade. So I went through their whole youth system, which was quality. Got kind of scouted. I was doing school New South Wales football, and Paul Smith at the time just asked where I was playing, and I just said, "Oh, just playing local." Didn't even think about playing representative at the time, and he said, "Oh, I think you should come down and trial for Sharks." And I just really thought, "Oh, yeah," didn't really think much of it. And he goes, "No, I think you should come down. You know, I think you could be a good asset to the team." So went down to the trial straight away. Just said, "Yeah, would like to have you," and stayed all the way through to first grade. Made my first grade debut at 16 with Robbie Stanton.
What year
which
was that?
nice. 16. 14 years ago.
Oh, okay.
13 years ago.
2011.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably around about then. Yeah, so I made my first grade debut then. Was there for a year and a half, I think. And then I signed with Wanderers Youth in the inaugural season for Wanderers.
Mhm.
So I knew the coach there, and he asked me to come along for a trial. So I went and signed with the youth team, and then halfway through the youth season, I was training with first team. So trained with first team with Popper for about 5 months until the end of the season there, and then end of the season he sort of said, "Look, we want to have you back. So if you could please come back for pre-season, you can go back to Sharks. But would like you to have you for pre-season." So went back to Sharks, then came back for pre-season with Wanderers.
Was that the...
That was the second season.
Right,
so the
okay.
season they won the Asian Champions League.
Yep.
So then I went back there for
Did you get a
pre-season.
bonus?
Did I get a bonus? I wish. I did get a jersey. They sent me a jersey, which was nice. So then I went back for their second season and trained with them through pre-season, and then was going home. One day I got a call back from Ante Milicic saying to come back, and went back and had a chat, and they wanted to sign me. So I signed a 2-year deal. Then from there, things sort of escalated really quickly. Played with under 19 Socceroos. And then sort of once I'd come back from that, going from such a high, then I sort of was out of favour at Wanderers, and then left Wanderers after 6 months there. And then that's when I sort of started going around, not because I wanted to, but just how football is. I started going around to a lot of clubs. So I played 2 seasons with RPR. Then from RPR I went to Sydney United.
Yeah.
And then from Sydney United I went back to Sutho. And then in the pre-season of Sutho is when I went over to Kuwait. So I had a chance to go to Kuwait. So I went there and signed there and stayed there for 2.5 years.
How was that?
That was good. It was I guess I signed my pro deal at Wanderers.
Yeah.
But that was the beginning of my professional career in terms of being in there, being a pro for longer.
Yeah.
So
how did
that was good.
Kuwait, because that's a bit of a random one, how did Kuwait come about?
So it was Daniel Zeleny, my best mate at the time. He was sort of helping me out, trying to get me gigs everywhere. and he'd been around in Asia, and he was. I just asked him if he, could try and help me find something, whether it was in A-League or overseas. And he just messaged me one day, and was like, "Oh, there could be a potential to go to Kuwait," and that's when I was doing pre-season with Sutho. And it was like 3 months later, he then called me on like Christmas Day, I think it was, and just said, "Look, I think you're going to have to fly to Kuwait because there's a lot of interest there." And I was like, "Okay, cool." 2 days later, just said, "You need to buy your ticket and you go over there." So I went over there and I trialled for 2 weeks.
What was your team?
Al Jahra. So they were struggling. They had one point at the time, halfway through the season. So they were really struggling. So I went
Sydney Uni, Kuwait.
Yeah, so I went there for a 2-week trial, sort of really not knowing anything about the country, anything about the football there, not really knowing much about the trial. But I was like, I want to be a pro. I've got to give it a crack somewhere. So yes, I had 2 weeks there, and then had a bit of an issue. They had to get rid of 2 players to make room for 2 of the boys, me and another boy that were signing. But at the time, I had no money, and I'd spent all my money going there, and I was sort of a little bit skeptical of whether they were going to send me a contract. So I spoke to the coach, and he said, "Oh, we want you." But I said, "Look, I have no money. I have to go home." So I went back home, and then my mate at the time said, like, I would be surprised if they send you a contract.
I would be surprised.
Because he's like, "We've left the country now." So
fuck.
I think it's going to be very difficult for them to want to pay for your flights to get you back. Anyways, 2 days later, they sent the contract through, and I flew 2 days later. I flew back over, and
They fly you
signed
back
with them.
over?
They flew me back over, and I signed with them.
Good.
Yeah, so I signed with them, and then that was like the beginning of my professional career. So I was with that team for half the season, got relegated, then played in the second division with them, which is probably not what most players would want to do. It's a 5-team league.
5 teams?
5-team leagues. You play each team 5
18
times.
times.
Yeah, you just with a couple of cup games, but they offered us more money. So all the players that were there were sort of like, "We've got a good team. We want to get back up." They're offering us more money, so we all stayed there.
Was that good? All the lads in the team?
And that was sorry.
The lads in the team, was it from all over the world?
No, so you can have 5 foreigners there. So there was 5 from around the world, and then the rest were local.
Was that, you got on with them all though?
Yeah, we all got along really well.
Oh,
There's 2 from Cameroon, 1 from France, 1 from Spain, and me from Australia. And they had a good squad. It was just, I don't know, mismanagement or something like that. So we'd finished half the season with a new coach, and we were smashing the league by 15 points or something. So, and that's when COVID hit too. So the team got promoted because of how many games we had to play, and we were so many points ahead. So we got promoted, but then that's when COVID hit. So then I came back home, and then got had a bit of problems with the club there with money and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and signed with another team there that was in the first division, Cape Town. So I stayed with them for a year, all through COVID, and then came back and signed with Brisbane. So then signed with Brisbane for a year, finished the season there, did very well, played many games, and then things didn't work out financially for whatever reason. And
So you made was it 19 appearances, is that right?
19 appearances, yeah. And that was an interesting one because most of my career was attacking midfield or winger, and I played left wing back, left back at Brisbane,
Right.
which I knew signing and going there, and I really enjoyed it. Had a really good time there. I sort of found my feet playing in a really professional environment in the top league in Australia.
Yeah.
And then
So how did you? So maybe I just missed that, but
Yeah.
going from Kuwait to Brisbane again, how did that move come?
Nathan Sherlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played with him at City United,
Ah, okay.
and so just sent him a message and said, sort of,
Sort me out.
well, no, yeah, essentially, right, sort me out, but just said, what are you doing? How's Brisbane? Are you guys looking for players? Said, yeah, we're looking for players. Spoke with Warren Moon and gave me a chat. Said, the money's not great, but it's an opportunity to play A-League. And I couldn't care less about the money. I'd done all right in Kuwait, and I was like, I just want to make sure I can finish my career and say that I played in A-League. That was a big sort of dream of mine.
So see life away from the football pitch in Kuwait. How was that?
Very difficult at times because train in the afternoon, and it's professional as in like I'm a professional, but the local players aren't professionals.
Right.
They have jobs as well, but Kuwait's different to your Qatar's, your Bahrain, your Dubai. It's different. All the people that have jobs there, they don't work at a McDonald's or a Starbucks. It's in an office job. It's a good job with the bank, with the government, or run their own businesses. So all the players either do one of those. A lot of them are PE teachers, or work in a bank, or work for the government or police, and then they play football in the afternoon. So in terms of us, a lot of the pressure's on the foreigners, as it always is, but more so because you're getting paid the most money and you're here just to play football, whereas the rest are sort of a bit more of a hobby.
Yeah.
So that was difficult to adjust to in terms of, I'm a professional now. I've got a professional contract, but it's not what you would expect a professional environment.
What were you doing in between training, like before training, after training?
So going to the gym, trying to keep yourself busy, doing chores, like because it was so physically demanding on what they wanted from you, it was hard to do too many extra sessions.
Yeah.
Also because of the heat and the conditions that were there. So you just try and keep yourself busy, do your extra sessions in the gym and make sure you're just looking after your body, because at the end of the day, the most important thing there wasn't whether you trained well, it was whether you played well.
Yeah. Pretty much the same everywhere, but in it, realistically, like, if you're not playing well, you've no chance.
Wherever you are.
Actually getting judged on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you have, like, in terms of social life, was there much of a social life going on?
Yeah, me and the Spanish boy that I played with, we hung out all the time. So that was most of my social life. We didn't really get too friendly with the locals until sort of my second season there, where I could hang out with them and go to their houses and have dinner and that sort of thing. But it's just a completely different lifestyle. Muslim country. Like, I'm very open-minded, so for me it didn't really bother me, but it's just there's certain schedules and the way they do things, like stopping a training session to pray and stuff like that, which you don't have anything against it, but it's just, you got to adapt to it.
Of course, you're in that country.
And it's different. It was good I had my girlfriend, she came over the time, and then we got engaged whilst we were there, so that helped too.
Yeah.
Although she left me when COVID came, she was the first one to leave. I don't blame her. They were closing the airport, so she went home. But yeah, it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. The level of football was different.
What was the standard like?
Just very transitional, very open and transitional. Not the highest of level. You got the two teams, Qadsiya and Kuwait Club. Kuwait Club has pretty much all the national team players.
Yeah.
So they're very good. Then you got two or three others that sort of get the best players, and then the rest sort of are just I guess battling.
Did you get a lot of fans to games?
Yeah, when I was first there, with the smaller teams, if you're not winning, no one comes. If you start winning, people turn up. So towards the end of my first season there, we're getting about 5,000 plus.
Oh, fucking hell.
But when I first played, we had about 10. But when we started to actually win games, people were like, we'll go and support them. Okay. The biggest game I probably played in Kuwait was maybe 10,000, which was a cup game, which is pretty good for there. Yeah, but since I've left, they're getting crowds now of 15,000 and more, because they're doing the facilities up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because the half-time entertainment's better now.
No entertainment there. No, just boys kicking the ball on the field.
So you got to move into Brisbane.
Yep.
And did you start straight away there, or was it like, did you have to fight your fair place?
No, it was interesting. I went in there with no expectations of playing. It was just to be able to have the chance to prove myself to get a game or two. It kind of just evolved where I was fighting for a spot with Corey Brown, and he's been in the league for so long. He's been at Brisbane for a long time. He's a top left back. He just got an injury at the time, and I sort of popped in and did really well, and I kind of cemented my spot for a little bit. He came back and then sort of got injured again. So I was kind of, I guess I could say, a little bit lucky. Not because I didn't play well, but when you're playing well, when you have a player that's played, I think he's played 200 plus games in the A-League, it's still hard to keep your position. They normally come and slide back in. But then I sort of played a couple of games winger here and there and played well and kind of proved myself. But I didn't go in there expecting to getting heaps of game times. But then as I had sort of finished the season, I looked back and I thought, for 19 games in the A-League, I was pretty happy with that.
Brilliant, mate. Cool. Superb, man. Absolutely superb. And then from there, why did you leave Brisbane?
There's no real answer, to be honest with you. I really like Warren Moon, and I had a good chat with him at the end of the season. Kind of forgot the feeling that it was about money, and I was on minimum wage. So, obviously I wasn't there for the money. And to be fair, I probably would have stayed there for a couple more years on minimum money, just because I love football and I love the lifestyle there. Me and my wife loved it.
Yeah, okay.
But there was nothing like, we're not happy with you.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep you. It was just like a sort of a mutual conversation of, thank you for being professional. You did really well. If you need any help finding another club, let us know. But there was no answer like, that we want to keep you, or we weren't happy with you, or it was really strange.
It was almost like the conversation was this, as if there was a pre-agreement, like that was the end of it, at the end of that year.
Yeah, honestly, it was really, really strange. But I was just like, this is football, it happens. I got to move on.
So how did you move on? Obviously, I can see here where you went to, but how did that come about, the move to Vietnam?
Yeah, well, after I finished at Brisbane, it was kind of a little bit like it was like almost that turning point in my career where do I keep pursuing it, or do I kind of put it in the back seat and I guess go back to MPL and focus on other things. And I sort of it was like 2.5 months or 3 months. I was just training every day. In the beginning, it was good because I was still motivated because I just finished at Brisbane. I played A-League, I played 19 games and that sort of thing. I thought surely there's going to be a team that wants me. Once again, I was on minimum wage, so I wasn't fighting for money. So I thought, surely, I could get something, and I just couldn't get anything for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Did you have trials, conversations?
No trials, because I kind of had I knew people in the league. I knew certain coaches and stuff, and like I had reached out, but I'd never had the reach out where it was like, hey, how you doing? I finished my contract. We worked together before. Can you give me something? It was just like I kind of let my agent at the time just sort of message them and say, Nick Olsen's free. Would you be interested in a play? And just kind of didn't really get any sniffs back.
Yeah.
So then I was sort of like, what do I do? And then in the back of my head, I'm like, I've been doing this for so long. I can't give up yet. I've got to keep going. So I trained for like 3 months before Vietnam came up.
What were you doing training wise? Just yourself?
Just by myself, yeah. And like towards the end, it was sort of like, I was getting offers, but offers of like really minimal money. But you kind of get to that stage where you're training for 3 months and you're sort of like, I need to be a pro still. You take anything, But then you're looking, I could go to MPL and make double that money, right? As we know. So I was kind of getting to that stage, and then I had a mate in Indonesia. He was always trying to work with me, and he said, there's an opportunity, not an offer. There was an opportunity in Vietnam. Would you be interested in going? I said, yeah, sweet. Agent called me and said, can you get in the plane? This is the conditions. Can you get in the plane? So I went over there with the next day, went over there and didn't realize it was actually a trial, but they'd sold it to me like you just got to do medical. So I went there. And,
for fuck's sake.
And the first session I did was torrential rain. There was puddles everywhere, and I'm picking the ball up and juggling and whatever, sort of having a laugh. Players before us saying good luck, and I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? So I figured out it was a trial. I was just super lucky that the window was closing in the day. So when I finished the session, went up to the rooms, and the agent goes, he wants to see you for another day, and just having a bit of a laugh. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, because I had no expectations. I had nothing, right? So I was like, yeah, cool, no problem. Came back 10 minutes later and said, we're going to sign you. So then my Vietnam adventure started. Did really well there for the first 5 months, and then went to another team. And then things went a bit downhill. Didn't do too well there. Then went to another team with the coach I had in my first team, and then I kind of started to pick up my level. I was starting to play good again, but then it was sort of too late. I had no goals or assists, and that was it.
In Vietnam, like, what's the standard like in Vietnam?
Very good.
Aye.
Yeah. Very
compared to A-League, how's it like?
Compared to A-League, more strict in terms of their position. I don't know if that's because of the background of the country. Not like military, but like training. So very hard workers.
Regimental, eh?
Yeah. Know how to keep shape to a certain extent defensively. I think they probably lack a little bit the tactical side of the game.
Yep.
But have lots of good technical players. I just probably think compared to the A-League is like super physical. Not physical as in like fighting for the ball, but physical as in run all day, non-stop. Yeah. Whereas like Vietnam was a bit like that, but A-League is more structured. So Vietnam, towards the 70th minute, the structure just kind of goes out of the game, and it becomes a little bit transitional.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And how about their social life, lifestyle, like living conditions, everything? Was all
that
sorted?
was another like interesting eye opener. More probably difficult for my wife, because when she first came, the club I was at kind of had to be there all day. So I'd be there from 11 o'clock. You'd have to have lunch together, have a sleep there and rest, and then train in the afternoon about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
And then most of the time have dinner. So it was more difficult for my wife.
What was she doing that time?
Keeping herself busy, doing yoga, going to Starbucks. Like, which sounds good, but it's good for a couple of weeks.
Those are marbles, aren't they?
Yeah, so it was good because I was performing, but like my home life with my wife was a bit difficult for her. So it was good, you'd get 1 or 2 days off and you'd be able to travel, but then the whole routine of having to spend so much time at the club, and when you went away for games as well, was like 3-day thing.
Oh, wow.
So that thing was difficult too. My second club I went to was much better because we're close to the beach. and I was close to the training ground, and they weren't so strict on having to be there all day, so we could be together and go have a coffee, breakfast, lunch, and then I'd go training and come back home. But the football side of things was very difficult because I wasn't playing well. I was getting told I couldn't play the way that they signed me. So I was kind of getting into a pigeonhole, and then there's a lot of things that went on behind the scenes that kind of made it difficult for me.
Yeah.
And then that's like, so that was better for the social side of things compared to Kuwait. But then there's only 3 foreigners in Vietnam. So then the pressure's on. If you don't, which you don't really realize until you're there. When I was in my first team, I was scoring goals and assists. So every club wanted me. They're like, this guy's unbelievable. He's on fire, blah, blah. Throwing money in you. But then you go to a team and 2-3 games, you don't assist or score. And it's like, we don't really, this player's, not for us sort of thing.
They're very like stats based.
Yeah. So much.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Well, Asia in general statistics.
Okay.
I think now football in general is statistics based, right?
Yeah. True.
Like, depending what level you're playing at, but majority of the time you can watch a player and be like, this guy's technically gifted, and they don't think about the process of if that's a guy's a top player. If you put him in a team with better players, he's only scored 1 goal this year, but he could be scoring 10, 15 because of the way he plays. In Asia, it's instant success. So my first club when I went there, I didn't realize I just went in there flying, scoring goals, and obviously everyone's, you're so good, this and that. I didn't realize because I was so new to that sort of environment. But then I was like, if you start doing well and scoring goals, money's coming, everyone wants you.
Yeah.
But then my next team I went to, I realized how quickly it turns. It just flips in his head, or you're not scoring and stuff, and people are just constantly saying, why aren't you like that player before? But they're not actually looking at how you're playing in that team, or
just
are we
because
supporting that player, or are we letting him play how
yeah.
you know what I mean? So then that sort of thing, like the lifestyle was good in my second team, but the football was very, very difficult to play. It was very tough.
So then that's Vietnam came to an end in 2023, is that right?
Yep.
2023. And then how did that come to an end? Was that your choice, or was that a mutual thing?
No, literally, I wasn't good enough.
Okay.
Statistic based. I wasn't scoring goals. I wasn't assisting. That's
So
just
that's why it came to an end?
Yeah.
Did your contract come to an end, or did it get...
Yeah, contract was finished too.
Okay.
But it was just based on my statistics. I wasn't scoring or assisting. I was playing well, and there was, certain people that would actually watch the game and say, you're a top player. We really like your style of play. But the business side of thing is I wasn't scoring goals or assisting. So
Where were you playing at that point? What position?
number 10.
10?
Yeah.
About
So I went
half,
from left back at Brisbane to then playing
10.
10.
Yeah.
But you think as a 10, like, obviously you need to score some goals, but even I think as a number 9, fair enough, goals, very
Yeah.
goals based, but...
But there's,
It's a 10.
as I said, there's 3 foreigners. So like,
You basically need
they're
to do
normally
all.
it's a centre back, midfielder, or a winger, and a striker.
striker, yeah.
And if you're not scoring goals, you like as a winger, just as an attacking player, it's they question you straight away. Yeah.
We spoke about it before when we had Lucas Meek on about America's very stat based, as we know, and especially assists, because you can win the ball several times, break up play, hold your position, set someone else up who then makes you assist.
Yeah.
You don't get the stat.
Yeah, see, I was getting a lot of second assist. I don't know, they call them second assist, right? But I understand it doesn't mean nothing.
I know it's made
because you don't look at it. You know what I mean? And like at the end of the day, I was like, because I had then been around for long enough, I then understood I wasn't like, maybe if I was younger, I'd be like, oh, this is crap. Like, I should be staying here. I understood how the game works. So it was like, I didn't do enough to stay there. And I just accepted it and was like, okay, well, now I've got to move on and see what's next.
And then was that when you said, you know what, back to Australia?
Back to Australia. And that was sort of the same situation when I finished Brisbane. I was training by myself for a long, 2-3 months. Same thing. It was good at the beginning because I was like, I've played in Asia and I scored some goals and stuff, I had the ambition to train hard and then it sort of slowly dies out. And then it got to a point where, I think I was 27, 28, and then sort of get into that stage where, I'm more of a man and I need to sort of figure out what's going on with my life as well outside of football, because you put so much into football, but then you get to a certain stage where you're like, well, I've got to start to think
Bigger picture.
Yeah. So I decided to go to Melbourne. I wasn't ready to come back to Sydney. I still wanted to try something new. I don't know if that's because I had been at so many clubs over so many years, but I felt like I wanted to try Melbourne. Also, my parents are down there, so I thought, okay, I'll get to stay with my parents for a bit. So I went down there, played a season with Heidelberg, loved it.
Yeah,
had a really good time there. Had Johnny A as a coach, very good coach. And I guess you could kind of say, like what you were saying, getting back the love into the football, because I think sometimes when you're a professional, even though you could be playing games, there's so much pressure on you, and you just don't enjoy the moments. You kind of just are thinking about, did I do the right thing? Can I get better? So I guess when I went and played at Heidelberg, was sort of just going and playing, no expectations and scoring goals or trying to assist or anything, just going back and enjoying football and playing.
Did you play well?
Played pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, you talk about statistics. Personally, the statistics weren't what I wanted, but I was very influential in the way that the team played. And then Johnny A as a coach, he knew that and he could see that in terms of our build-up play. So then that makes me as a player feel better, knowing that it's not about how many
Stats.
goals you
Yeah,
score, but
less
it's about
pressure.
how you're influencing the team.
It changes your decision making as well. Right? If you've got the ball and it's like,
100%.
fuck, I need to shoot rather than, or try and find an assist here or make a
Yeah.
pass that necessarily isn't on because my stats are going to affect.
Exactly. Yeah. So that really helped me sort of just get back to playing football again, getting back to the basics and my style of football. So I really enjoyed playing down in Melbourne.
Aye.
So that's Heidelberg is your Melbourne team.
My Melbourne team, yeah, the Greek lads.
There's one, I think a couple of common things I've noticed in doing, I think it's like 54 interviews or something like that, but a lot of lads have been pro, is like, the MPL is such a mad league, and how do you call it? Last week we spoke about it being like, best league in the world, like jokingly, but I feel like the opportunity MPL does provide, like you're saying, both of you feel back in love with football with it. There's less pressure because you can go and maybe explore something else avenue wise, and like you said, you can't really, anyone I speak to from professional, just on this podcast, feels like the pressure people get put under in professional football, because we've not really, apart from Kalach, we're the ones played. I've been playing at fucking AC Milan or Barcelona, because people try to, like, proper journeyman football players bounce around, try to make a career out of it or making a career out of it, but you can't enjoy it because you're always thinking about the next thing or try to stay where you are. You need to bust your arse, and you're always under pressure. You're always like getting doubted. You're away from home. You're in different countries. A lot of shit fighting visa issues and work permits and getting paid. And but when you go back to Australia, it's like, do you know what? This family's close by. I get to work. I can guarantee a decent wage. Like, it's a very unique league.
Yeah. And it's the environment. A lot of players, I don't know if it's changing now with a lot of young players playing A-League, but going from A-League years ago, players that went from A-League then came to MPL, you feel comfortable straight away just because I think it's the environment that everyone's just so welcoming, and everyone's not like, you're not fighting
A-League's more like
against each other.
Yeah.
Whereas A-League, I think it's like, and a lot of environments, as you said, like, what's the next thing? I have to be better than him. I have to be better than him.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like in the MPL one's kind of
More team
it's more
focused.
team focused, and people aren't too worried about being successful themselves. They're sort of more worried about the
successful.
team
Worried about the
being
team
well
winning.
together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which makes it special, I think. Which is why it's a good league.
But even like I just enjoyed like the little things so much more. Like we'd say in the A-League, like we had a win in Melbourne, and just like everyone goes back up to their rooms and stuff like that. Like we have a win now, we go back to the flat, have a couple of beers together. Like the team camaraderie is just so much more. Like so much more special.
togetherness, and there's less pressure on just everything, really. Yeah.
It seems a bit, I don't know if that's a modern thing, but like in football, because it's very, very professional, very regimented. Like, I think if you go back to like 2000s, most teams would probably go back and have a beer together. I think nowadays it is a bit more like everyone wants to be seen as this model professional. Well, I'm doing the right thing after the game, which again has its merits as well. But I think being a team sport, and why, if you think growing up, the best things about football has always been playing with your mates, having a laugh, the sociable aspect of it, because it's a game at the end of the day, and sometimes it gets too professional. When loads of lads who I know who played boys club 13, 14, 15, get in that sort of 14 to 18 window, go to like an academy, and they sucks the life out of it because it got too serious too quickly.
Serious, and
they're like, I forgot why I played the game. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun, and that happens in football. Some teams you've been at and like, he's not taking it serious. You're like, is he not taking it serious, or is he just enjoying himself because he's at football? Because it's a game of, like, go and enjoy your fucking game, man. Because a lot of players don't enjoy it. I know a lot of players who get so worked up and so nervous on game day because they're so amped up about performing well. It doesn't matter if it's MPL or association. It's just something about game day, and they can't just relax. And they could be good players, but they've just got so much pressure on themselves, or some maybe a parent pressure or a coach pressure. They can't perform well, and it's a shame, really, because that's why we all play football. It's fucking class.
I think it gets built into you. Like, I would say I get nervous before games, but that's because
that's normal. But nothing normal.
But it's more so because it's like I hold high standards for so long that it just continues on with you.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think like but I think it's a good thing though, because the players that normally do get anxious, and I think I would say it's majority of players. It's just because they care about the game and they care about their performance.
I think nerves are normal and a good thing, because there's obviously like you want nerves because it can be good. It can obviously be good to settle your mind, and it's just shown that it'll be natural. What I mean is, people get anxious on getting the ball. Like they don't want the ball. They're hiding in the game because they're scared to make a mistake. It's like they've got so much pressure on themselves. Like shit. Yeah. When really they're a good player, they're more than capable of making a fucking 5-10 yard pass. But they're not making those passes. They're not tracking it. Their head just completely goes, and then they're second guessing their movement and where they should be. And it's like, as a coach, they're scratching their head thinking, where is the guy? And it's just solely psychological.
But I feel like that probably comes from a lot of the academy setups.
Yeah, potentially.
I think that's where it starts from.
Or maybe potential households. Some families put pressure on people. You see that a lot. I mean, you see that all over. It's mad. Like, just as I say, that pattern of, you see how mad the NPL is, and I still also think the jump. Like, I think, mate, both of you, but you going through all these different countries: Kuwait, Vietnam,
and Maldives.
In Maldives, I was there for. It was a 3-month contract. Trained there for.
You played in the Maldives?
I didn't play. I played with the team in the Maldives in the AFC Challenge League, but we went and played in Kuwait. So when I finished at Heidelberg, I had an offer to go there. So it was a 3-month contract, but it was.
So in the Maldives?
Yeah.
How was that? Class?
It was not bad. It wasn't on like one of the islands. We went and visited the islands. Yeah. Played some games there. That was an interesting experience. Yeah.
How was that? Talk to us about that.
Well, first of all, they hadn't. So the team I played for, they was like the top team. They're always in the AFC. But they hadn't played in the league for, I think, over 18 months because they had problems with their federation. The federation had taken all their money from FIFA.
There's a lot of shit going on, like that, money shit.
Yeah, so the boys that had just been playing like five-a-side for the last year and a half.
Five-a-side in the island in Maldives?
Yeah, so then... So obviously top players for the Maldives, but when we went and played in the AFC, it obviously showed that, you know, such a small country just kind of struggled a bit. Yeah. But when you haven't played competitive football for 18 months, it definitely hinders how you're going to be playing football. But great experience. It came up, I wanted to play AFC. So whenever... And
another box tick.
Exactly right, yeah. So the 3-month contract, but we played 3 games in 9 days. So it was really 9 days that we played. We trained for 6 weeks in the Maldives. 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and then went to Kuwait and played for 9 days. Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, it was insane. So yeah, it was a good experience. It was an opportunity, and MPL season had finished, so it came perfect.
The life experience, mate, it's class as well. All the stuff you're getting from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Super, man. Do you still keep in touch with MD at all from any of those teams, any of those clubs?
Yeah, I keep in contact with a lot of people.
Right, class.
Yeah, I try and keep my network as big as possible.
Right, that's brilliant.
Just because you never know in football.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So see the Maldives. What was it like? Like, obviously, my idea of the Maldives is like
holiday destination.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but obviously, there's more to it.
Yeah, so there's 1,000 islands there. It's a lot of islands, and a lot of the boys that played in my team, Marzia, they kind of come from all the islands, and they end up living on Male or Hulu Male, which is a man-made island, which is what I lived on, which is like developing. They're building heaps of buildings there, international investment.
How big is an island? You see there's 1,000 islands, but how big are the islands?
Oh, like very small.
Oh, right,
yeah. Okay. So I don't know. You could probably drive. Some of the islands you can walk from one side to the other in 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. Some of the islands. Yeah. Okay. Some of the boys that played in my team, their island. I think one said it was like 10 or 15-minute walk from one side to the other.
Swim over the
and he said, "Oh, we produced some good footballers." I was like, "Do you have goals or anything there?" He's like, "No, just kick a ball on a beach."
Wow.
Yeah, so I've got to give them credit because of how small all the islands are, and they got a national stadium, and then they got some other islands that have synthetic fields, but the quality of the fields aren't good, and they may be smaller than normal pitches. I've got to give them credit. Some of them are very technical considering their upbringing.
Yeah.
But it's just like there's not that competitiveness because a lot of the players that play in the national team play in Marzia, and they just win the league very easily every year.
Right. It's quite interesting, man.
Yeah, very interesting.
Geography lesson.
Yeah, geography lesson. Yeah.
So from the Maldives, obviously you end up back at Wolves. How did the Wolves move come around?
I just wanted to play on grass. I wanted to play in the Australian Championship, and Wollongong was sort of a good option for me.
Did you reach out to Wolves, or did they reach out to you?
Yeah, reached out to Wolves, and just got talking, and it was pretty easy for me.
Do you live in Wollongong?
No, I live in St. George area.
Oh, yeah.
So it's about 45, 50 minutes for me, but it's like 2 or 3 roads, so it's quite easy.
Yeah.
But on the biggest one was to play on grass,
Yeah, okay.
which, as you know, almost 80% of the teams in the MPL in Sydney play on synthetic.
Yeah.
So I wanted to play on grass and train on grass just to sort of look after my body, and I prefer playing on grass. So
Everyone does. Playing on grass is brilliant.
so that was a big
Brilliant.
like tick for me, and playing on Wynn Stadium too, which we didn't get to play too much the last two
First
games we
round,
played, but the first sort of
second
round we
round,
played a lot at Macedonia
yeah.
Park, but now we're playing more at Wynn, so that was definitely another tick for me, and then playing in the Australian Championship too.
Yeah. So how do you has the Australian Championship affected your season in any way? Like in terms of obviously there's something else.
Not much at the moment, really.
Yeah, not really. Like obviously, that's for sort of
After.
the head ups to look
I think
after.
it's just like how long do we have in between finishing the season?
Yeah,
That's anything.
we just sort of focus week to
Do you
week.
know what happens with signing players for the championship?
There's two windows. They've added a window now, I think. So
have
you got half season window,
One
and then,
coming up in like 4 weeks or whatever.
yeah,
Yep.
and then they've opened another one now apparently.
Post season.
Post season.
Post season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you might not know the answer to this, but the question would be: can you sign anybody at that point?
That I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
I'm
know
not
that
sure.
just recently we got told that they're opening another window
Yeah. Okay.
for end of
That's
the
good to
season,
know. I didn't know that.
which is like good, I think, because you can strengthen your squad. But then I think it's also
yeah.
a bit wishy-washy because you can get
Shafted.
players. Yeah, you can get shafted, or like players that have been there all year that may have done okay.
Yeah.
Or consistently
Just
not
ditched for
bad.
some
They just get
marquee
ditched
player or
for a
something.
marquee
Yeah.
player. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I
And
guess
then
at the
this
end of
is-
the day, though, you want to make it as strong as possible as well.
Yep.
Like you
Yeah.
understand it to be as high as possible. So at the end of the day, like it might be unlucky for those guys, but like you said, like that's the game.
If you're not good enough, yeah.
We've been on the other side of it as well.
But then the question is like, do they come for the Australian Championship and go back
then
to
go
their
back.
team? That's the thing. It's like, okay, they're going to give me money for that, so I get money. But then, they're going to offer me more money than the season. I'm going to get back to my old team.
Yeah.
That's the only thing where it's like, is there something?
Contracts?
Yeah.
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 It'll be interesting. It'll be quite a unique thing, but
Because the point system's gone next year in MPL as well.
that's right. aye.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
it's
Is
going.
it?
It's going.
But there's a criteria.
Yeah.
You need to have so many
Young
20s
players,
young
young
players,
players,
and that, aye.
Yeah, right.
But I think that if everyone to just go like second window, whatever happens, marquee players, not just everyone just enjoy this unique
Yeah.
league this year, and it'll get figured out. There's going to be some things are going to be shit.
Yeah,
Some things are going to be
it's
amazing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
But
cool.
the thing is, I think in Australia is like, yeah, people might complain about it, but normally in Australia we do things quite well. Like we make it work.
Okay, well, hopefully.
So I think that while it might not be the best option, I think it's a good starting point.
That's a starting point. 100%.
No,
I think something had to change, and I think the fact that there is something happening is.
I'm
Yeah.
actually buzzing for it.
It's
I can't
not gonna
wait,
be-
man. I'm buzzing for it.
It's not going to be perfect.
Well, I mean, if you're just watching the TV, you might think, oh, good, there's a game on. It works perfect. Obviously, the people that are into the nitty gritty might not be perfect to start off with, but I feel like it's a progression onto something
It's
else.
the right step forward.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
step forward.
and it's giving teams that want to be put out more in the limelight, that have the money to do it.
I think-
It's giving them an opportunity to do it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I think as well it's a massive chance for the fans. You know, like people of Australia, fans of football have been sort of wanting more from what it currently is.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good chance for them to get behind it and really promote it. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to carry it. You know, if B League happens and big crowds and stuff like that are coming out to support it, then there you get the improvements, more sponsors, more money.
And then I might question
And then-
what's happening with the A League.
Then that's where it could,
Yeah.
promotion, relegation,
Honestly,
stuff like that.
For me, it's like let's just like the A League's separate to me in my head because there's been opportunities for it to be a
Yeah.
collaborative thing. I think just everyone's in the NPL space will support the B League, the NPL space.
Yeah.
Let's promote it. Let's push behind it, and the A League will sort itself out. That's where the money is. That's where the sponsors are.
Yeah.
The B League, if the B League ends up getting some momentum, then tough titties.
Yeah.
That's fucking. That's
sure.
what it is. That's the way it works. We're,
That's
like,
right.
we're taking action. We're trying to make something work. And I really hope it does work for the sake of football in Australia because
Yeah, 100%.
everyone,
Needs to
like,
be
there's so many people who are football fans.
Yeah.
So such a participated sport. It's a
Yeah,
brilliant
1
opportunity.
point, I think, what was this, the stat? 1.9 million?
Is that right?
The most participated sport in Australia.
Because even looking at like obviously a lot of the private schools are always been rugby. Now the numbers, football's starting.
It's changing,
to
yeah.
flip. So
Yeah.
now football's the year 7s and 8s
So,
is
yeah.
more people.
That's
play
where you hope the
football
Australian
than
Championship then sorts out the whole structure of how it works in not just like the NPL in Sydney, but the whole of Australia.
100%.
For getting those clubs that can't be in the A League,
Yeah.
maybe whether it's because financially or infrastructure wise, but giving them an opportunity to also like give more players a chance and giving that club a bit of limelight.
Yeah.
One question I want to ask before we crack on predictions is players in MPL this year, who do you hate playing against or you think's the best player you've played against? Both of you. You're probably going to be a defender, isn't it?
You go first.
Won't be a Marconi
Captain
defender
first.
anyway,
It
man.
won't be a Marconi defender.
Player I hate playing against. It's a tough one.
Why is it all that easy?
Well, he's injured at the moment, Temba.
Big Temba, he's a good player.
He's just like always kicks me. He's a good player and he's a big guy, you know. So like trying to hold up the ball and stuff, he's always a hard one to verse. Yeah, I'd probably say him. Obviously, just off the top of your head, it's hard. There's
of course.
a lot of good defenders, but I'd probably say him.
You weren't saying that off air.
Pardon?
You weren't saying that off
What about you, Nick? Anyone this year you've faced against? No, just shaking your head.
No, not that I hate.
No,
Like-
I just think like you go going to be a big top, like
I'm
a
gonna
tough
have a
game,
good game
or you
today.
think he was class. Like that's really a good player to play against. There.
Not really. Not saying that's like I find every game easy, but it's more like teams we come up against that I'd be like, oh, it's going to be a tough game today. But I don't know. Like,
Well,
not
no,
off the top of my head, there's not like one player that I'm like, oh, wow, that was a really tough game. Not saying that there's
No one. I know he's
not saying that there's not
Mm.
because there's really like there's good players in the league, but just at the top of my head, I can't really think of one.
Someone that doesn't like really get mentioned. Like he did at the start a bit, but just because of their team at Rockdale, like Danzo.
Bro, I mean, I see it all the time.
Just two touch, move the ball,
That's
and he's just like,
we speak about it at Spirit quite a lot. Like we rate him highly in terms of never gives the ball away.
yeah,
Never
he
gets the
does
ball
it.
away.
and just like does everything so simply but so effective.
And he's always moving too.
Yeah,
Like
like we did a lot on just making sure that he doesn't get in behind us too.
Aye.
Because obviously watching in a trial, just like him always in behind, turning on the ball. Like a lot of our pre-game for them was based around him.
just stopping them getting through the
Yeah.
midfield.
How have you found working with Warren? Good.
Yeah, good. He's a good gaffer. I like Warren. Just for me, it's a good coach to work with.
Very organised, very structured. You know, he's got a plan in his head, and we're just trying to implement it at
Yeah.
the moment. Like we said, obviously having people come in and out of the squad as well, it's a bit difficult, but at the same time, that's why you need to have good systems in place so that the people that come in know those roles,
Yeah,
know those responsibilities, and that's what we're trying to build at the moment.
yeah. I think it's good going into the championship. He's brought a lot of structure to the team and to
Yeah,
the
good.
club.
You need that for professional.
You need that. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Last question I've got for both of you would be if you could bring one lad from who's retired from MPL to your team right now, who would you bring in? A retired MPL player to your squad.
Penny Nickers. I'd bring in Penny
Pinnicus.
Nickers.
I
play with him, he's a
He get mentioned before.
Yeah,
Lachie be dropped.
Oh.
He's gutted.
Yeah. Retired player. God.
Someone from the Gong.
Someone from the Gong. Bring back Leeds. Nick Littler.
Nick Littler, yeah.
There you
I
go.
play with
He
Leeds.
hasn't
He's good
retired
too.
yet, but
He's not retired.
he's just
He's
playing
NPL
like
retired.
local in MPL.
Oh, that's all right.
Like
He's-
local IPL.
Okay, so you can bring
He's
him back.
MPL retired.
Yeah, okay,
But
give
he's
it
probably carrying a few too many kilos.
too much time at the frat. Okay, Chaz, predictions.
Yeah, so we go 4 games from each league. All we're doing is picking, obviously, win, lose, draw.
Don't get too
Last
excited,
week,
mate. There's no bet on this, mate. Don't get too excited.
3+ shots on target. Now, Lewis got 5 last week. I get 3, and you get 4.
Terrible.
Disgusting, man. So we'll start. Big game of the weekend. Marconi at home to Rockdale.
Marconi at home.
Marconi, like they do tend to beat those teams like quite often lately, but I'm gonna say Rockdale.
You're gonna say Rockdale?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say draw.
I've went Rockdale.
Because the last time Rockdale played at Marconi, did they get hammered? The
No,
last
Nah,
time.
that was the mental game. I had 8-1
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
8-0
So I don't know whether
or
they're
something.
thinking about that, but maybe they're just like, let's just get a point.
Yeah, don't know.
I see that because Marconi have been quite poor at home this year.
They have, but mate, they've only lost one game. There's one game.
game.
There's one
And
game.
he lost one game.
That was even that.
Scored in that
I didn't even set that up. I just forgot it was against them. They've only lost one game, but they've not got an amazing home record. But no, mate, if you look at the league table, the home league table, nobody's really got a great home record. There's no one who's like, everyone's a weight record. Like Rock.
We did until we had our last 2 losses.
Yeah, that's true.
We had a good home record.
Yeah, okay.
So you don't have.
ones
Not
I'm gonna go a draw.
Draw. Okay, Sydney FC at home to St George FA. Pencil St George.
Pencil St George.
Oh, it depends. Yeah, that changes.
I want to go.
Is that Allendon?
Is it Allendon?
Oh, it's at London.
Sydney
Yeah, I
FC,
thought it
okay.
was at St George.
I want to go St George because I think Sydney FC will have a few boys at the national.
Yeah, it'd be good to see a team list.
Will they have some players missing?
The national young boys up, aren't they?
Well, the scholars will be on holiday, I think. And then
Scholars on holiday and the young other boys.
some people will be with the
Yeah.
17s,
Yeah,
or the
right.
wages now, the 16s, the 20s, and the
I'll go
23s.
St George as well.
Yeah, St George then. Yeah,
But then,
because they got good momentum, Sydney. But if some of the
yeah,
players
but
are
will it be that
missing,
different from the team that played at the weekend just past?
No idea, mate.
I'm going to go Sydney FC, fuck it. Sutherland Sharks at home to Wanderers. I'm going Sutherland.
you going Southo?
Yeah, they need to.
I'm going.
That's the one
I'm
they
gonna go
have to.
I'm gonna
Wanderers.
go draw.
I'm gonna go Wanderers.
Yeah.
I want to go draw.
Away, draw.
I would like to see Sutherland win though,
Mm.
just to get some points on the board.
Sydney United at home to Manly.
Sydney United.
Sydney United. Yeah.
Manly don't concede, man. They just
Really?
don't concede a lot of goals.
I can draw.
Draw. I've gone Sydney United as well. Okay, MPL2.
You boys are going to struggle here.
Good luck. Spartans at home to Dully.
Spartans.
Spartans at home.
Buttons.
I'm going to go draw. SD Raiders at home to MacArthur Rams.
SD Raiders.
That's the Raiders. Yeah.
I'm the same.
Oh. I'm going to go Rams. Hakoa at home to Rydomere.
Draw.
You might let them go first.
No.
Hakoa at home.
Yeah.
Hakoa.
Hakoa.
Draw.
I think I'm going to go Hakoa as well. And Hills at home to Tigers.
Northern Tigers off
Tigers.
top. It's like one of the top
Yeah.
teams.
Tigers.
I'll go
I'm going
Tigers.
Tigers as
Somehow.
well. Okay, MPL3 boys. South Coast Flames at home to Prospect.
Oh, I gotta go the
South
Flames.
Coast
you gotta go
There you
Flames.
go.
The local boys.
I'll go Flames as well.
I'm going Flame as well.
Up at the furnace.
Fraser Park at home to Central Coast United.
Fraser.
I've gone Fraser as
I'm gonna
well.
go Joe.
Draw.
We are Central Coast United in the league.
They've not been doing particularly well the last
Nah.
few weeks, to be honest.
I'm going to go Fraser Park again. Mark it.
Stanmore at home to Nepean.
Draw. I feel like it's gonna be a battle. We're gonna go for the draw.
I'll go Stanmore. West.
It'll be a gritty one.
I'm going to go Stanmore as well. And then Granville Rage at home to Hawkesbury.
Granville.
Granville,
Granville
I'll go
Rage.
Granville as well.
home. 4 home wins. Gents, thank you very much for your time, eh?
Thanks, lads. All the best.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers,
Yeah,
lads.
it was
Appreciate
good.
it. Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah, good excellent, man. Yeah. Thanks for having us. What was that guy's name you said? The gaffer was the one.